fan. And he loves the Eagles. I think he grew up loving the Phillies. So he loves Philadelphia sports. And basically what the Phillies said is, hey, we want to go get Bryce Harper right now. We're going to pay him $330 million. They could have potentially waited for Mike Trout. And who knows what would have happened. Trout would have never left. But they could have made a play if they waited another year or so. And it feels like to me, without digging too deep into it, he saw Harper get a deal, and he was like, well, here's what I'm going to do, Philly. I'm going to go trump that deal by $100 million, and you have no chance to get me because I'm staying here in Anaheim. But what a deal, and listen, the guy is phenomenal. Go read up on Mike Trout. Mike Trout is the best-kept secret in maybe all of sports. And we got a little theme going today because we have, like, underrated players that are making headlines in sports. Mike Trout is a big one. He's underrated. Now, if you're a big baseball fan, and I get that out there, you're like, he's underrated. I mean, the guy's a star. He is. No. For most people, he's underrated. I saw something today. He has the 11th highest selling jersey in Major League Baseball. That's unreal. By far, I think it's fair to say, by far, the best player in baseball. I mean, if you look at his wins above replacement, if you look at some of his stats, they don't make baseball players like Mike Trout. And on top of that, if you go read stories on him, he's a fantastic guy, which is cool. That's always a nice little bonus.
This is a guy that suffers, though, and I call it the Pac-12's, the Pac-12 after dark, I guess we'll call it, syndrome.
Yeah, West Coast bias.
West Coast bias, and obviously being on the East Coast, it's hard to watch those games, but I think that even living in the Midwest, it's hard to catch those games sometimes. And granted, baseball, there's so many games where he'll be on the East Coast a little bit, but from that perspective, it's hard to appreciate his talents and whatnot just because you never see him on TV. Sure, you're going to see a highlight here or there on ESPN SportsCenter the next morning, but besides that, no one really knows who this guy is, and it sucks because he's so good for baseball. I mean, the guy can do everything.
Yeah, I agree with you. And he's a football player playing baseball, basically. I mean, he is a freight train. Go read up on him. It's good stuff. But you're right. You have to find it because even the Angels, if you're looking at a West Coast game on ESPN, it's the Dodgers, it's the Giants. That's it. And now it might be the Padres a little bit because of Manny Machado, but they don't even put the Trout and Angels on a lot, and they haven't had a ton of success. That's a part of the reason. Now you just hope this guy can find a way or they can find a way to put more talent, young talent around him, and they can win. I mean, they do have Ohtani, who also is a draw, so that put Trout on TV a little bit more last year. But I said underrated because Dirk Nowitzki just passed Wilt Chamberlain too, and we've already mentioned this guy a couple times in the conversation of underrated. But he's another one you kind of just comb over in terms of great players in the NBA. You don't get to his name for a long time when you're doing lists of top scorers. You don't get to his name when you do generational players, changing the game kind of players, and he did. And he has. And he's nearing an end, of course, but another big milestone for Dirk Nowitzki, so we'll get into that a little bit later on. Have you filled out your bracket yet?
I have not filled out my bracket. I will fill out my bracket tonight, actually. I have a big, I've been doing this since I was in probably fourth grade, Brent, so there's kind of a tradition I have to go through. There's kind of a process that goes into me filling out my bracket. I'm not going to discuss it here, on live radio.
Oh,
but
you can't give that up.
No.
It's a secret? Is it successful?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny. So me and my friend, we always do a bracket with a pool of people every single year. And then if I beat my friend, he pays for my entry fee. So in the past 5 years, I'm undefeated against my friend. And then I've also won that bracket once.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you do have some success.
I do have some success.
And we'll see. Again, ESPN690.com, the place to go if you want to play and win and play against us. And our brackets will be up there by tomorrow. I think tomorrow we will discuss our brackets a little bit more in detail. I don't think we have to go through every pick, but I think we'll highlight some of the picks and what we have in our Final Four, and you got to get them all in. Play-in games, first four games, however you want to call it. I hate all the new the new terminology. Let's just say they're play-in games tonight, tomorrow. It's interesting. They are kind of play-in games, but I took offense to that a little bit when UNF was in that first four game, and I liked it more as a first four game instead of a play-in game. Because if you take like a UNF or any of the teams that are in it right now, they made the NCAA tournament. Now, you kind of want to get to Thursday night, and UNF ended up losing that game on that Tuesday, but you'd want to get to that Thursday night to kind of make it feel like you're in the tournament a bit more. But you're in. You made it. I mean, you win your conference, you made it, and you're in. And that's in a way I would almost like to see, and I get it. in these first 4 games, you're getting a mixed bag. You're getting a couple of 16 seeds. You're getting a couple of 11 seeds. So they try to be fair that way, where they're not just taking the 15s and 16s and putting them against each other. But if you win your league and that's an automatic bid, I would almost like to see the last 8 at-large bids go against each other on these 2 nights instead of the team that won the conference championship and earned the automatic.
Well, that's the way it should be, right? Like, hey, congratulations, you won your conference championship. Now you're going to play an extra game in the NCAA tournament. Like, what kind of reward is that? So I completely agree with you on that. But at the same time, too, like, I'm all for the extra games. I mean, it's more basketball. It's kind of like a little appetizer. You know what I'm saying? Like, those first games, you can kind of, wet your beak a little bit before the real tournament starts. So, I mean, I'm all for it. But as far as the team that's won their conference and everything, their conference championship, I mean, give them a break a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I think so, too. I think it would be nice because it is a tough – think about the 16 seeds. You go to play a game, and then you're turning around and you're playing, Duke or or give me the number 1 seeds, Gonzaga or all of them. So I think it's a really tall task. Virginia,
even though I play Virginia. They've been beat before by 16. So
Virginia
you never know.
The way they play, they are ripe for an upset. That did not stun me. Now, of course, it stunned me last year that they lost the game. But they are always ripe for an upset because of the way they play. They almost keep it close against anyone, because they keep the scoring down so much. Now, that's not to say they can't light it up on the scoreboard, and they can. They have it. They have the ability to do that. But if they have a bad shooting night and you can get hot a little bit, you keep it close, and in any of those kind of situations, you start making that team nervous, and that's what happened last year when Virginia bowed out early. The only team to ever lose to a 16 seed. I was looking at the numbers, and I forget. I don't know if this was in the history of the tournament that I saw, but the one that was noticeable is how many times they get the 8-9 seed correct, because the 8-9 matchup, they pinned 2 teams that are pretty equal in the history. I think it's the history of the tournament, but to me it didn't seem like enough games, but maybe it is. 88 and 88, the 8 versus 9. So, I mean, that is 500. I mean, and that's the way that game's supposed to be, right? Well, it's the middle game. Yeah. They're supposed to be about dead even. So the committee over the years has done a really nice job of seeding 8 versus 9 if the actual record of that first round game is 500. Pretty good.
What was the percentage of 12 beating 5? Isn't it like 12's favored always to beat 5 or something like that?
You know what? There was a run on it for a few years where I think it skewed people's perception. It still is good. It's not bad, but 13 over 4 is still higher percentage.
Okay.
Wait a minute. No, that didn't make sense.
No.
11 over 6.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So it feels like
everyone's talking about the 12 beating 5
more than 11 beats a 6 or a 10 beats a 7. It's not the case.
Okay.
But they're kind of close. I mean, again, you're right. The 12 seed has done a nice job, but I actually believe in the last couple of years, and this is just off the top of my head, I feel like that 12 seed has not fared very well the last couple of years. But there was a stretch for about a decade where it seemed like we had at least 1, if not 2, and sometimes 3 12 seeds beating the 5 seed. That was kind of the place you did not want to be. Of course, in your situation, you want a 12 over a 5. Murray State is playing Marquette.
That's why I asked.
Is there any kind of, Marquette's kind of close to home, too.
So
I mean, this is a tough thing for you.
As soon as I got announced, obviously the Golden Eagles of Marquette were announced first. I'm like, all right, cool. They're over there, and all of a sudden Murray State. I'm like, and this is funny because they've actually played each other. I want to say back in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, or 2013. Murray State played them. I want to say it was in the round of 32. And Marquette ended up beating them. So, obviously, I'm a big Marquette fan. I grew up with Dwayne Wade. I have 3 Dwayne Wade jerseys back from the day when he played for Marquette. So, big Marquette fan, but obviously Murray State being my alma mater, I have to go with Racer Nation.
Yeah, we got some football talk on the way as well. Dan Mullen talked to the media as spring practice continues in Gainesville, closer and closer to the orange and blue game in a few weeks. What's the quarterback situation, the injury situation? Mullen talked at length here today. And, I might have to dial up my man Barish. Might have to call downstairs. I'm getting pissed about the allergies.
Yeah, I don't know what's
I
up
just
with
can't
you,
shake them. I mean, it's blowing at like 25 miles an hour right now.
Brett might have to go home early, man.
Nah, I'm not going to. I'm going to tough it out, man. I'm a tough son of a gun.
Okay.
Just in case you didn't know that.
I respect it.
Yeah, we got a whole lot more to come.
I respect the mindset. It's contagious.
Who's tougher? Next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and if you're looking for something to do for dinner tonight, I've got an idea. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years, fresh ingredients every day. That's what Renna's Pizza was built on, and that's what Renna's Pizza delivers. A menu to satisfy the entire family tonight. Fantastic pizza, fresh salad, and Italian favorites like lasagna. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Be a part of the family and get dinner tonight at Renna's Pizza.
The 4th annual Touch a Truck event is coming to Jacksonville March 30th at the Regency Square Mall parking lot. We are offering First Coast families the chance and opportunity to climb all over trucks and vehicles that are normally off limits. Guests are asked to bring non-perishable items to be donated to Feeding Northeast Florida. You can find more information. Visit ESPN690.com or find us on social media. Just search ESPN 690.
Do you know a child that is deaf or blind? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students elementary through high school, no matter where you live in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdb.k12.fl.us to find out more.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we have, and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call us at 904-600-4000.
Office in Jacksonville.
Whether you're buying a new or pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
It's March. There's basketball. And now there's ESPN 690, The Bracket. Go to ESPN690.com. Click on the bracket logo and fill it out. Play against Bren and Austin from Action Sports Jacks. The winner gets a smoker, gift card, and more. Play The Bracket with ESPN 690.
The winner gets tickets to Rolling Stones, a meat smoker, and more. Play The Bracket with ESPN 690 right now at ESPN690.com.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick & Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with our friend Brent Martineau on ESPN 690.
Hey, Brent, man, don't worry. I'm about to get us paid.
Oh, yeah. Allegra, we need some
Sorry,
help.
yeah, I kind of crossed out a little bit.
Yeah, no problem.
Allegra, cut the check. Let's go.
Magic whiteboard working.
My man's dying over here.
You know, I could do a better job at, like, religiously taking the allergy medicine.
I'm sure we all could, right?
But I try to get one in, the 24-hour one.
Have you ever heard that tip that you have to eat local honey?
I've done it. I've actually done it, right? And I think it works well mentally, like,
but not actually.
But it's
mentally.
No, seriously. You know, some things you're like, hey, I feel, oh yeah, this is good. Like this is good. Plus, I kind of like honey, so I'm just like eating a teaspoon or tablespoon of sugar.
Healthy sugar, though.
Yeah, healthy sugar. But I've tried it and done it, and I'm like, oh, this is really working. I read up on it, and it's supposedly not true.
See, you shouldn't have looked into it. If you thought it was working, you can't look it up.
You know, I didn't. I accidentally saw it somewhere. Like, you know, it was one of those things. I don't know if it was on Twitter or whatever. I'm like, no way.
Oh, no. I couldn't tell you when I was doing the morning show over at WAPE, all of my favorite shows would get ruined because of social media.
Yeah.
Like, I was so into The Walking Dead, and I'd have to miss it because Sunday night I'm going to bed to get up early, and then I'd just be like, writing a post for the morning show, and then you see, oh, this person died, and I'm like, oh, man.
Do you still watch the Cougs or not? I don't think we've talked about this. Yeah, you're not really missing much anymore.
I was just say they lost me once they got to Alexandria.
Yeah.
Do the people that sell honey, like, do they make like good money doing it? Because there's a lot of people that sell honey.
Why don't you just ask me?
I was going to say, you got one
family,
right there.
Yeah, you can just ask me, man. I brought you honey for like the first day of work, remember?
You did, that's right.
Yeah, my grandpa makes it. Yeah, he can make some pretty good money. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, and that's not why he does it. He does it as a hobby because he's always looking for something to do. So he doesn't like really sell it. He gives it to family and friends and whatnot for free. But I feel like, you can make some pretty good money.
But the whole process is fascinating.
Well, and it's not cheap either. It's not a cheap hobby to dude. So like it's crazy. So each hive, like each box, they call it a hive. It's a box, and each box has one queen.
Yeah.
If that queen dies,
It's over.
We're talking like you have to spend another queen. It's like $500.
Really?
Just for a little insect. Yeah.
Have you seen those beehives that you can like build into your wall at home?
So
I was like, that's like the worst idea ever. Why would you do that?
I mean, really just getting in the family business right now. So my grandpa actually makes bee boxes is what his gig is. So
like in the wall ones or just
no,
an actual
actual ones. But he specializes in because in Wisconsin it gets really cold, right?
Yeah.
So obviously when it gets like below freezing, sometimes the bees can die. So he actually makes these bee boxes that are better for the bees because like they're thicker, so they're insulated, so so that way they can stay warmer.
Huh.
The bees have air conditioning.
Very fascinating
and heating.
animal.
It is. It is fascinating. The Bee movie was very good. And
Jerry Seinfeld, what's up?
Queen Bee is used in a lot of different ways.
Beyonce, what's up?
And by the way, bee boxing as opposed to beatboxing.
Yeah.
I've watched that movie once, and it was on YouTube. And every time they said the word bee, they sped it up by 0.5%. So by the end of the movie, it was just like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think I've told you the story before. That movie came out, and we had like a minivan, and they had the DVD in the back, and the kids watched it. So I never have seen the movie, but I've heard the lines like a million times, and there are some great lines.
It's
in the
good,
movie.
man. It's great. Jerry Seinfeld.
All right. Speaking of bees, what about BB5? Blake Bortles, quick landing spot in L.A. I like it for Blake. What do you think?
I feel like he can go out to the beach bars and not get noticed anymore. So you
hang around on Twitter too much.
Why?
You sound like Twitter. He can go to the beach bar.
I was about to make a Twitter comment too.
Isn't that the most obvious thing though? It's
I'm just
LA.
saying.
It's California.
There's one quarterback on that team that has a loss in the Super Bowl, and then there's one that doesn't.
Blake Bortles facts was fantastic.
That's where I got that from.
Last night. Yeah,
So from a non-social perspective, from a football playing perspective, I think it's a great spot. He's going to be in a high-powered offense, definitely a brand new system to learn. And it's like we talked about, where he can sit behind Jared Goff a little bit. He can take some stuff in and learn. And listen, Jared Goff's not a proven quarterback yet by any means. He had an okay season last year. I wouldn't call it a Pro Bowl caliber season. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I
still don't think he's getting. I don't think people think they're winning because of him. I think McVay is the reason they're winning.
Well, I think it's McVay. I think it's Todd Gurley had something to do with that as well. And obviously a receiving core, which anybody would love to throw to as well. So
and Goff's been better.
He has been better, but let's not write him as an All-Pro just yet. So there's always the possibility of if something should go wrong in LA, you never know. Bortles might get his name called up to start.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's a one-year deal. From what I understand, I don't think the Jags will get much of a credit. The way this works is they've got up to $6.5 million they can get back. And it wouldn't go in. I didn't realize this part, that it doesn't until recently when I was asking about it, that it wouldn't be a credit until 2020 on the salary cap. It wouldn't even impact this year's salary cap, even if they get something. But my understanding, talking to some folks, that they don't really think it's going to be much. So I think this is a pretty low-end deal. And that's kind of the fortune of the Rams. They're already up against the cap to a degree, and they get a backup quarterback that has a lot of experience, and they don't have to pay that much because they know he's already getting paid from another team. So you land in a pretty good spot as the other organization trying to add a guy that's still getting $6.5 million in cash from somewhere else. I mean, Blake, we were joking a little bit last night on social media. I mean, for all we know, he could have signed up for $1.
Yeah.
From the Rams, and the Jags have to pay the other $6.5 $6.5 million. So who knows what it is. But, yeah, I like the landing spot. I would have liked New England. I like McVay. I like the fact that Blake's going to take a seat. And he's not going to go rush into a situation where the Miami Dolphins or the Redskins, where I think would have been bad situations, set up to fail. We talked about this a little bit last couple of days. And now he can go learn a bit from a guy who knows the quarterback position and seems like he's, the modern-day offensive genius by some in McVay. And I think he also he liked Nathaniel Hackett. Well, I think he'll really like McVay and is it Zach Robinson? Is that who it is? Zach Robinson? I'm right name.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But the assistant, they're young. Is my point. They're young guys, and I think Blake relates to that. Now, listen, Jed Fish is there as well. I got to be honest with you. I don't think Blake loved Jed Fish when he was here. I really don't. Now, that was a long time ago. Things have maybe changed, and I'm not saying he didn't like Jed Fish, but I know he wasn't comfortable around Jed Fish. So from a football standpoint. So I don't think, even though Jed Fish is out in L.A., I don't really think that's the connection and the draw. I think it's McVay and the fact that he's worked out in California now for a handful of years in the offseason, and he knows people out there. And this won't be that far from where he was working out. So good thing for Blake. I think he'll land on his feet, and who knows where he ends up? Who knows what? I don't know if he'll play next year. I mean, if Goff stays healthy, he won't play next year. And then maybe 2 years from now, we're looking at him getting another job somewhere else and another opportunity. And you know what's interesting about it? It's a smart move on Blake's camp's part in this sense. Anybody that kind of had a relationship with McVay this past year seemingly got hired.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's a good point.
So if McVay has another good year, Blake will get the benefit of that. People will invest in Blake and say, you know what? We need a veteran guy, a guy that's played football, and he just spent a year with Sean McVay. That's a good thing. And so we'll take a chance on him.
Well, you just kind of took it there. Here's the question. Do you think teams start to figure out McVay this year?
To a degree, I guess. But keep in mind now, this McVay stuff goes back. And it goes back to Mike Shanahan. It goes back to Kyle Shanahan. And then it goes to McVay, all with the Washington Redskins. But Kyle Shanahan down in Atlanta, now in San Francisco. I think they move with the times. You catch up with some things, but then they move with the times. I mean, I think Kyle Shanahan's a very smart offensive guy. Very, very smart. And I think since he left Atlanta, they've fizzled a little bit on offense. I think we'll see what Garoppolo does in San Francisco. Obviously, this year they were a little hampered, but look what George Kittle did in that offense, and we saw what they did to the Jags 2 years ago when that Jags defense was elite. So I think these guys are pretty bright, is my point. Catching up, I don't know. I think to a degree they will, because I like to always say the league corrects, and there's an autocorrect there, and they find it, and they'll study them. But they do things with such precision that if they operate in that precise manner, they're going to find some success. And then they'll also broaden whatever they're trying to do. I think they'll have new things that teams won't be ready for.
What I'm curious to see is if teams watch that Super Bowl, saw what the Patriots did, where they're jamming the receivers in the bunch, and they kind of copy the Patriots a little bit of the defense that they ran. And in retrospect, I'm wondering if the Rams look at that tape and be like, listen, we can't run so much tight bunches because look what happened. So I'm curious to see how teams are going to evolve. Where are they going to play the Rams like the Patriots did? And are the Rams going to evolve to the fact that maybe they can't play so bunched all the time? Maybe they have to spread things out a little bit and kind of change things up. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and I also think this, kind of to broaden your question, I am not convinced that Sean McVay is the next Bill Belichick. All right? I mean, I'm not. He's off to a good start. I think he's fascinating, and he's obviously had some early success. But he's going to have to show us something.
Here's
and he
the question,
got out-coached big time in the Super Bowl.
Here's the question. Do you think Sean McVay is the next Andy Reid?
That's fair. Yeah, that might be fair.
Yeah.
Very good with the offenses. Can he win the big one, though? And that's what you're saying, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Whether he wins a big one. And,
yes.
Listen, he arrived real early at that Super Bowl. I think we'll have to wait another 5 years before we truly know the answer to that. But the guy's good with offense. That's crystal clear. And he's good with quarterback, so I think Blake found himself a nice landing spot. Are you good with your bracket? Let's take a look at that NCAA tournament bracket a little closer. Next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690, Sports Center update.
I'm Aaron, and that beeping sound you hear off in the distance, that's the Brinks truck backing up to Mike Trout's driveway. The Angels reportedly opening up that checkbook to the tune of $430 million over 12 years. The question is it the right move? And Stephen A. thinks he knows.
What is good for baseball and what is good for the world of sports is an organization stepping up. There is no way in hell that we need to be the organization that lost this guy. You don't lose a Mike Trout.
Now, in his career, Trout has never placed lower than fourth in the MVP voting. He's been Rookie of the Year and MVP twice. Last year, he hit .312 with 39 homers and 79 RBI in just 140 games. Meanwhile, at the bank, the Jags announced they've agreed to terms with former Green Bay linebacker Jake Ryan, and Blake Bortles has landed on his feet in Los Angeles. He'll be carrying the clipboard for the Rams next year. Download the ESPN 690 bracket and play along with Brent, Austin, and others right here. Just go to ESPN690.com.
Hi, this is Earl Ron, president of New South Window. Over the years, we've seen more and more window companies come and go. Some sell the same window everyone else does. Some sell a window made up north. Some even change their name to evade responsibility. But none are the factory. No one else but New South has made an investment like we have in our 5+ acre Tampa factory. We are the Florida company who will make and install your windows and guarantee them for life. From our factory to your home. Now that's Factory Direct.
Buy more, save more. Volume discount up to 30%. Visit newsouthwindow.com.
Okay, for today's sales meeting, I've got a new handout. It's entitled The 4 C's, how to deal with a shopper who comes to our jewelry store after he's been to Diamonds Direct. First C, complicate. Get their heads spinning with terms like GIA, IGI, SI1, VSI2. Make them think our diamonds are just like the ones at Diamonds Direct. Second C, confuse. Refer back to the first C. Don't let them compare apples to apples. We'll lose every sale. Trash Diamonds Direct if you have to. Third C, convert. Talk them into a smaller diamond or an inferior cut diamond. That way we can be competitive on price with Diamonds Direct. And the fourth C, change. Change the subject. Tell them how we've been here forever, or tell them our knockoff rings are just as good as the designers at Diamonds Direct. Just say whatever you can so you can get the most important C of all, commission.
Other stores will try just about anything to compete with Diamonds Direct, but it's no use. Diamonds Direct is forever changing how people here buy diamonds, with higher quality, better diamond education, more selection, and the guaranteed best prices. Diamonds Direct at the Markets at Town Center between West Marine and REI.
You look at the way Paul George is playing, and you look at Russell Westbrook, I don't think anybody can deny Oklahoma City may be the biggest threat to the Golden State Warriors.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
You working hard over there?
I am.
What you got?
I had to give a little shout out to the in-laws. You know, make the in-laws happy. Obviously, that's one of the most important things in this world, right, Brent? So,
yes.
So my cousin-in-law, Marcus Damask, he is a guard at Waupun High School. Was named Mr. Basketball in the state of Wisconsin this past year. Yeah, yep, just got announced. So congratulations to him. Unfortunately, they did not go to. They in Win State, they got runner-up. Got beat by, I want to say it was Martin Luther, if I'm not mistaken. But Marcus is going to go play at the University of Northern Kentucky.
Huh, good for him.
Mr.
The
Basketball.
Norse.
Yeah, the Norse, exactly.
The Northern Kentucky Norse.
Yep.
Northern Kentucky's been all over the place. I believe they might have even been in the Ashland University Conference when they were Division II. Mm-hmm. At one time. I mean, they weren't initially when I was there, but then I think they morphed into that league, and then they were in the A-Sun for like a year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And now what are they in?
I think they're in the Horizon.
Is it the Horizon?
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So like University of Green Bay, Milwaukee.
Yeah. You're right.
Is DePaul still there? I don't know. I mean,
is DePaul there? You might be right.
DePaul used to be legit back
DePaul
in the day.
used to be in the Big East. They got out of the Big East,
I have no idea. Yeah.
That was a weird fit in the Big East. But I think they were in the Big East for a short time. Maybe it was Atlantic 10. Gosh, I don't know. The conference affiliation. Some of the schools have bounced around, really, if you think about it. I miss the old Big East. Grew up on the Big East.
Sure.
Marquette's in the Big East.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all. Looks like we got a phone call coming in here.
I don't know.
It's probably in-laws. I probably pronounced something wrong, and now they're mad at me.
So Mr. Basketball, how big is he?
He's 6'6".
Oh, so
which, yeah, I mean, he's pretty decent size. I think, I mean, obviously, when you're Mr. Basketball, you're pretty legit, right?
Absolutely.
So I was surprised, like, you know, the university,
even in Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised, like, the University of Wisconsin was looking at him at all, or Marquette. But yeah, I guess it might have been a size thing. But 6'6" is still a pretty big guard. I mean, and he can play everywhere. So he's gonna be fun to watch the next couple years in college.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Good for him. That's awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
So it's Marcus Domask, Domask.
SK. All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep an eye on him.
Check him out
Someday, playing in the NCAA tournament, perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
How about that?
If I'm not, who's in the horizon this year for the tournament? Do we
Oh,
know?
boy.
I know.
You're putting me on the
I'm kind of putting
spot.
you on the spot here. I can look it up in a second.
Hey, the big to-do on the bracket, or some of the controversy coming out, was the East bracket, where Duke is number 1, and Michigan State was complaining, essentially, or had people complaining on their behalf because they were number 2 in Duke's quadrant. I say shut up to that. I mean,
no, exactly.
Who cares? Michigan State, you're in the mix, but you don't deserve anything more than anyone else. I don't believe. Tennessee's a 2 seed, Kentucky's a 2 seed, Michigan's a 2 seed. I don't see why that has earned them to be out of Duke's thing. Now, and if Zion Williamson was out, do you think Michigan State would be complaining?
Of course not. They'd be inviting it.
How you have Zion Williamson and Ja Morant playing in this tournament. Now, Morant won't be there very long. I mean, let's just face it. Even if Murray State makes a little bit of a run, it's not like they're going to the Final Four. How much will the NCAA, will CBS, will the coverage just be dominated by Zion Williamson? I mean, this college basketball season seemingly has been dominated by Zion Williamson coverage. It is going to be Zion all the time.
I found out who's going to play in the Horizon League for the tournament.
Who is it?
Care to take a guess?
It's not like Bradley or something.
Nope, it's
do they
Northern
play in the
Kentucky.
Oh,
so I probably should have known that. Yeah, Northern Kentucky's in it. They're
Who are they
playing Texas Tech.
Oh, okay. Texas Tech, pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. But hey, very cool. But anyways,
wow.
I'm sorry.
That's pretty good then, Northern Kentucky. I don't think they've been in that league very long.
No.
And they've already made some noise in the league. All right. Well,
anyways,
hey, if we didn't know that, we got to do more homework.
I guess so.
On the bracket, which I do. I will say this. This happens in our world that we live in. We had the Players' Championship that we're dealing with on Sunday, which means I didn't watch selection show. I mean, we watched when Florida and Florida State and who was coming to Jacksonville, and that was about it. So I did not sit there and say, oh, my gosh, I can't believe this team wasn't in. And that team. So you do have to catch up a little bit where everybody else is kind of living in that if they were watching it. And it worked out pretty perfect, right? I mean, the Players' Championship, I think, wrapped up right around 5:45, 6 o'clock. I mean, it was over. So that it worked out well for the sports fan. I thought the Players or one of the two, Selection Sunday, might run into an issue because if that finishes a little bit later on, well, now they're going up against each other, and that will chip into the ratings for each. But that worked out perfect as a sports fan if you wanted to catch you into the golf tournament, and then you roll right into Selection Sunday.
There was a massive scramble at Lynch's to change the TVs from PGA to Selection Sunday. Yeah,
that's interesting too because I don't think in a bar at Lynch's is the place for me to digest and consume Selection Sunday.
Yeah, no, it was more my buddy's fault. He ran around and was like, "You got to change the TVs for us." Like,
no, I mean, I can see why they wanted it on. I'm just saying, I wouldn't. That's not the play. I need pen and paper.
That's exactly what I was doing. Yeah. Well, especially because I was nervous too, because I was hoping Murray State was going to play in Jacksonville. There was a chance, and then obviously it didn't happen. I saw Yale and Wofford come up, and Wofford and Seton Hall come up.
Yeah.
And I might have dropped a little F-bomb underneath my breath, and my son might have repeated that, but it's okay. We're all good. We'll move past it.
We all do it.
I know.
I just happen to do it on the golf course. So that happens.
Speaking of, hang on quick. Speaking of golf courses.
Yeah.
So you and your son went out today, played a little golf. Now, how old is he again?
He's 13.
13 years old.
Soon to be 14.
So that'll put him in
Looks like he's
8th grade? Is that an 8th grade or 7th grade?
8th grade. Good,
So,
very good.
All right, so we have an 8th grader. Who won?
He won.
Okay. How do you feel about that? Because me personally, I'm embarrassed for you.
Yeah.
So I hope you can share my embarrassment.
Not only did he win, he won by 5 shots.
Oh, man.
And I beat him on the front by 1.
I mean, it's something
I choked coming home. I mean, I played well on the front. I shot a 40 on the front. I'm going to humble brag right now and say I shot a 40 on the front.
Listen,
and I only beat him by 1.
If he was in high school and it was like Ray Allen playing his dad back in He Got Game, remember like that whole scene, and he beat his dad, basically, that's cool. But Ray Allen wasn't in 8th grade when he played Denzel Washington He Got Game.
True.
Okay. So, and I understand it's golf and anything can happen, but Brent, man.
Well, yeah, I think, first of all, like it's not like I'm this unbelievable golfer. I'm an okay golfer. And he's probably played more golf in the last few weeks than I have. But that's no excuse.
Here come the excuses. It's fine.
No excuses. No, he played really well today. Like, really, like, that was his best. He shot 83. I mean,
Brent is best in the sports department. Stuart Weber here chiming in.
What's up, Weber?
What's happening? Snuck in.
Yeah. There it is.
Brent is by far the best golfer in the sports department. It's not even close.
No, it's really not.
It's really not.
Could you say this building?
Nah, I don't know who else is in this building.
I know Nick plays. I know
Bachman beat me.
Does Bachman beat you?
Yeah. Okay. Bachman's got a heck of a lot more free time on his hands.
News anchors. You know how that goes.
Let's just say that and hope he's not listening.
But if you were to have lost to Bachman, it would have been from the same tee box.
It would have.
And that is the big caveat for your battle with young Ty Martineau.
Yeah, but But I will say this.
But he's in 8th grade, so.
But he's a little guy, 8th grade.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I will say this about, in Ty's defense from the tee box thing. I mean, like, I was hitting my driver pretty well today. Yeah. And so he might have got a bit of an advantage on a couple of holes. But he beat me because I screwed up down the stretch and I couldn't putt. Like, he could get up and down. I mean, he is a good short. Yeah. He's like an old man short game guy.
Okay.
I mean, he can get chip up and
shots fired. Maybe a little bit, I think.
No, that's a compliment.
That's a good thing.
Well, he's called him an old man. I'm like, okay.
Old guys they can chip up and putt.
I wish I had the old guy driving ability because I cannot get it straight into the fairway. If I just had that, I'd be happy.
But yeah, Ty. I mean, he played well. Again, Ty will probably shoot. He hovers around 90. Now he'll go like 95 or 96 sometimes. And once in a while, once we get playing, he'll go 88 or 89. He shot 83 today. I mean, that 83 is pretty good. And
drinks were on him afterwards, right?
I don't know. I was mad at him, so I didn't talk to him.
You're that upset about it.
Somebody said, like, oh, you were real proud of him. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he had a good round, but I was not, like, cheering him on at the end of the round. I wasn't.
Absolutely not.
No.
It's like when I do mini golf with a girlfriend. It's like, if I see that she's up on me by, like, one shot, I'm not going to say it out loud, but inside I'm thinking, man, I really hope she just collapses on this hole.
So, like, as parents, like, you'll never let your son win a game, like...
No.
You'll never throw the game, I guess.
No. Oh, I will cheat to win the game if I have to. I will not bow down to defeat against my son until he's like in high school. Then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But anything before that,
until he beats you fair and square.
Until he beats you fair and square.
The times are changing. Like, see, Ty and I play ping pong quite a bit, and he's pretty good at ping pong. And so he started beating me in the last year. Like once, I think he got like 3 out of 4 one time. Well, that kind of got me going a little bit, and I don't think he's beaten me since. I mean, he went on a little run, and I think I'm on a run right now. Now, we haven't played in a bit, too, but, like, so I'm just telling you, Ty, if you're listening, you ain't beating me on the golf course again for a little bit.
Oh, the gauntlet has been laid. I like it.
So, yeah, there we go.
Real high stakes.
And now, hopefully, my game can back it up. He seriously plays more than me now, though.
Brent, once again, that's kind of an excuse, though, ain't it, man?
I need all the excuses. Listen, you want an excuse, Ty will give you excuse. Ty, you know what I told you the other day about golfers? It's always somebody else's fault?
Yeah.
Ty's living it.
Well, the way he's playing right now, I think he has a right to do that. He's legit.
We need to get his sister out on the course, and she can play like that, and then that's a college scholarship automatically.
There we go.
Ty's 83, probably isn't getting a college scholarship. Kaylee, we're on to something. We're going to work on that in the household. Get your bracket done, Weber?
No, I've hardly looked at it yet.
I know. Yeah. Well, we got a good tournament shaping up. It's coming to Jacksonville. Shoot-arounds tomorrow. Yale's already landed. I'm sure the other teams have, too. And
Wofford driving, by the way.
How about Ballin' and Fallin' coming up next? Wofford driving down.
South Carolina.
Short trip, South Carolina. It's next on ESPN 690.
It's March. There's basketball, and now there's ESPN 690, The Bracket. Go to ESPN690.com. Click on the bracket logo and fill it out. Play against Brandon Austin from Action Sports Jacks. The winner gets a smoker, gift card, and more. Play The Bracket with ESPN 690.
The winner gets tickets to Rolling Stones, a meat smoker, and more. Play The Bracket with ESPN 690 right now at ESPN690.com.
The ultimate alternative rock tour. Bush and Live. The ultimate tour. Sunday, August 18th at Daly's Place. The celebration of 16 Stone from Bush. And Throwing Copper from Live. Special guest Our Lady Peace. The ultimate tour. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Jacksonville? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Jacksonville area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Jacksonville is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Whether you're buying a new or a pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
Like, your lack of retention is a breathtaking thing that should be among the 7 wonders of the world.
I couldn't see the uniform through Devon's smoke.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau
on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Why do people go on cruises with bands and athletes and coaches, and why is that a thing? Did you see the Steve Spurrier cruise with the Orlando Apollos? Like, you can sign up and go on. I do not want to see Steve Spurrier with his shirt off.
Yeah, but I bet you want to have a beer with him.
But there's so many people on that cruise ship.
I know. It's like
that. So that one seems a little weird to me. I will say in our continuing coverage of the AEW, Chris Jericho has his own cruise, but they have wrestling matches on the ship. So they set up a ring. Huh. They bring in, former wrestlers to meet and greet with the fans. They have all this extra stuff that goes with it, and he's got a band too. So the music side of it as well.
I've seen that before, like Kenny Chesney or like Zach Brown band. You go on a cruise. How does it work? If anybody's ever done it, tell me how it works. Like I just don't get it. Like, I don't get, why is that
Rob
a thing?
Gronkowski had one, too, for a bit. I think he actually still has his Gronkowski cruise, if I'm not mistaken.
So, the fans can sign up for the Gronkowski cruise?
Yeah, which you can imagine what that's going to be like.
I feel like it's a Disney cruise, but
I want to know what the waiver for that looks like.
Oh,
right. I mean, trust me, I've met all the Gronkowskis before in New Orleans for Super Bowl weekend. They were on Bourbon Street, and like people think that it's all an act. That's who they really are. I mean, literally up to their dad, to every one of his sons, and then Rob included. They were on Bourbon Street. They all their shirts off. You know, they're drinking beers, having a good time. So from that perspective, man, like I guess I respect it because like it's not fake. It's not a facade. That's just who they are, and they're having a blast doing it. So
yeah, they're living the
more
best
power
life.
to them. Yeah, they really are.
If you that saying, I think of Gronkowski's.
Yeah,
I mean,
I see a reality TV show in the future.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, if you've gone on one of those cruises, again, I'm not knocking it. It's fine if you have. I want to see what are they like? Like, why is it a thing? Because more and more do it. 904-362-9901, or it'll be hard to explain on Twitter if you want to. You can. But I wonder if you've been on one and what that is like, whether it's the wrestling kind of deal that Stewart's talking about, whether it's an athlete, Gronkowski, now Spurrier, and I know there's been music ones before. And I just wonder, it's like, do you get a meet and greet with them? Do you sit there and go to the swimming with them? Do you eat dinner with them? Like, I mean, I've been on a cruise, so like, what part of the cruise? I don't want to see my family half the time on a cruise. So
you want to get away from them?
So do you where's the interaction with whoever is going? And by the way, if this thing's really a good deal, why aren't we doing one?
Yeah, ESPN 690 cruise coming your way.
Oh, now we're talking.
You hear that, Nick?
Instead of like a yacht, it's just like a giant little speedboat, like a little fishing boat. With just like two people hanging out with us.
I'll be the captain. I'll drive us around.
Not being weird at all. It's gonna be a giant, a tiny fishing boat. Me, Brent Stewart, and like two random strangers. Like,
and they
you
have
guys
to
want
row.
a beer, or what do you want to do?
We only brought 10 McUltras, so enjoy.
Yeah, let's go to the Concos.
It's a canoe. Come cruise with us. Hey, by the way, that happy hour horn is going to be awesome on the canoe.
Oh yeah,
the canoe cruise.
Absolutely.
Definitely tipping our star tenders for that
Tip
one.
your star tender.
That's it.
Listen, someday we got to build up to a cruise.
Let's do it.
If it's real. I really want to know. I'm interested to know. Somebody out there's had to have done this before. Don't be ashamed. There's probably some awesome ones. Like, I bet. Not seriously. Like, Jimmy Buffett.
So in all actuality, that Jericho cruise was pretty sweet because they had exclusive matches that they weren't televised. So only the people on the cruise could see those matches, and they're high-profile matches and whatnot. So that's cool. I also know that a seagull got involved by accident and actually flew into the ring.
Oh, really?
And I think it might have killed itself by accident. So there's a big discrepancy there. But from a wrestling fan perspective, I can definitely see where people want to do that.
Yeah, Randy Johnson was not there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I get the music. You put on a concert every night. Is it just like once during the cruise? Yeah, interesting. But anyway, Steve Spurrier cruise, July 12th through the 15th, if you want to go for the Orlando Apollos. But listen, I bet I bet Gator fans.
Let's just go ahead and do the show from there.
Sign up.
You set like a wake up call where he calls you in the morning to wake you up for the day.
Well, time to wake up.
Yeah, like he takes over.
Yeah.
Yeah, he takes over the intercom.
Yeah,
there.
he calls into your room or something. Yeah,
he's your cruise director, head ball coach here.
Well, all right, so okay, we're on this thing now. Who would you seriously go on a cruise with? Like, who would you want to do that with?
Man, I'm not the biggest fan of the ocean, Brent. So the cruise in
Have
general.
you never been on a cruise?
I was on a cruise when I was a kid. I don't remember anything from it. I was like 5 or 6 years old. Went to the Bahamas. I got my hair braided. That's all I remember. It hurt. Yeah, I don't really have I'm not a big cruise guy. So as far as seeing somebody, I just go see them at a festival or something.
You got to take the family on a Disney cruise, man.
No,
Disney
we're
cruise
all
is
good. No, absolutely not.
If they could do a Bonnaroo cruise where it's just a ton of people, then I'd be like, all right, I'm in.
What does that mean?
Bonnaroo Music Festival.
Oh, man.
I knew it was coming. I knew you were going to say that.
And our younger demographic just turned off the radio. Well, I'm sure they're not listening on the radio. Turned off the stream.
Turned off their smartphones.
And just said, forget it. We're out.
Oh, what is it?
Bonnaroo is a giant music festival in Manchester, Tennessee.
It's a new aged Woodstock.
Okay.
For
that
you.
was supposed to be where the honeymoon was going to be for me and my wife, but then I had the fight for the UFC, the Greg Hardy fight, so I had to cancel Bonnaroo.
Boy.
Yeah, that really panned out well. Oh, well.
There's a line to say somewhere in there, but I won't yet.
No, go ahead,
we'll
Brent.
wait down the road.
Hey, if you're feeling froggy, go ahead and leave, man. What do you got for me? It's only Tuesday.
But so is it like they have Stagecoach out in California, don't they? Isn't that like a music
Coachella,
festival?
stuff like that.
Coachella?
Firefly.
Coachella? I thought Stagecoach is one too. I thought it is.
Yeah, that's like a country music
Is
one.
it? Okay.
So
okay.
Stagecoach is like Coachella with country music. And
Okay. Yeah.
Country music people.
Same idea. Where it's like, you know.
Sorry, younger audience. That doesn't count. So, hey,
those people.
So, hey, if you're listening on ESPN 690 AM, they have Stagecoach.
Oh, man.
but for you guys listening on the stream, it's just
Bonnaroo.
It's whatever the hell you just said.
Coachella. There we go. Now we're talking.
But if it were a cruise where every night it was like a big headliner or something, I think that, and like different genre too, like jump genres, all that, I would definitely be interested in something like that.
Nah, that's cool.
Well, what about you then? Answer your own question. If it was an opportunity to see whoever you wanted on a cruise, whether it's an athlete, whether it's a band or whatnot, who would you want to see?
I'd need Dale Jr. to be there.
Dale Jr., huh?
Dale Jr. I feel like they've done a past stars of NASCAR one.
But like, what are you gonna?
I feel like I've seen that.
But that's weird though.
Tell old war stories and.
Well, to me, it's like if it's a concert, you're going to a concert.
Sure.
At sea. What are you gonna do with Dale Jr. for 3 days at sea?
I feel like it's only part of it. The main part of it is that you're on a cruise.
Yeah.
You're there to do what you normally do on a cruise, but then in addition to your normal cruise, you can also hear Dale Jr. talk for a little bit.
We had a comment on our thread here saying that a friend from Australia flies over to the States to go on a Kid Rock cruise.
Oh.
Says he doesn't really hang out. He just goes. He does a concert, and his band guys hang out with the peeps.
Okay.
Kid
I was
Rock,
going to say
all
that
right.
could be insane. Right?
I mean, has he done this recently, or is this back like in the early '90s when Kid Rock was?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Makes it sound like it's a consistent thing.
Oh, I didn't know Kid Rock was still a thing. Cool.
Did they hold the concert on the bow with the bow?
Brent's not gonna get. Did you get that one, Brent? Probably not. It's okay. Stuart from downtown.
You're welcome.
How about bowling?
Should we do that right now?
Yeah, we get time for do bowling.
Okay, let's do bowling and falling. All right, I got a quick ball in here. ESPN has gotten the exclusive rights to UFC pay-per-views.
Yeah, I broke that news to you
did
yesterday.
break that news to me. Yeah, from a UFC fan standpoint, not the biggest deal, but I read a little research here, did a little, reconnaissance, and it turns out that if you have the ESPN Plus app, you actually get a discount on UFC pay-per-views, which is good for me and probably good for a lot of the subscribers at home. So pretty cool thing with ESPN, obviously. They're taking over the fight game. They already bought PFL. Really, all that's left besides PFL and UFC now is Bellator and ONE FC. So I'm really curious to see what ESPN does from here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, my ball on how do you not do Trout today? I mean, golly, $430 million.
That was mine too, but I'm not going to,
it's too
phone
easy.
it in. Yeah, but go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I gave you yours yesterday.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm losing in everything today, I guess. Did you see some of the stats on Trout though, where like, or the combined contracts of Harper, Machado, Trout, and there was one other guy are bigger than the Tampa Bay Rays have ever spent?
Yeah, Arenado, I think was the other one.
Oh, is it Arenado? Yeah. Is that true? Like bigger than they've ever spent in 21 years?
For their entirety.
So what I was reading is the fact that in every game that he plays of his contract, he gets $225,000 per game.
Man, that's crazy.
How crazy is that?
But like I said to my wife, she was like, that's nuts. I said, if Tom Cruise does a movie, it's $100 million. It's like he does a movie for the next 12 years. Well, Tom Cruise would get $1.2 billion. This is nothing for Trout.
Yeah.
We got Fallen next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Aaron, and that beeping sound you hear off in the distance, that's the Brinks truck backing up to Mike Trout's driveway. The Angels reportedly opening up that checkbook to the tune of $430 million over 12 years. The question is it the right move? And Stephen A. thinks he knows.
What is good for baseball and what is good for the world of sports is an organization stepping up. There is no way in hell that we need to be the organization that lost this guy. You don't lose a Mike Trout.
Now, in his career, Trout has never placed lower than fourth in the MVP voting. He's been Rookie of the Year and MVP twice. Last year, he hit .312 with 39 homers and 79 RBI in just 140 games. Meanwhile, at the bank, the Jags announced they've agreed to terms with former Green Bay linebacker Jake Ryan, and Blake Bortles has landed on his feet in Los Angeles. He'll be carrying the clipboard for the Rams next year. Download the ESPN 690 bracket and play along with Brent, Austin, and others right here. Just go to ESPN690.com.
It's time for another shout-out to all the North Florida poker fans. This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Poker Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. It's time for you to learn how to play poker, and we're here to help. Attend our Poker 101 class for complete poker rookies on the 30th of this month. You'll walk away confident and ready to hit the tables. Our next one-day seminar will take place on March 30th at Best Bet Orange Park from noon to 5 p.m. Bring your game face and learn to play from the best. For more details, visit bestbetjacks.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and if you're looking for something to do for dinner tonight, I've got an idea. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years, fresh ingredients every day. That's what Renna's Pizza was built on, and that's what Renna's Pizza delivers. A menu to satisfy the entire family tonight. Fantastic pizza, fresh salad, and Italian favorites like lasagna. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Be a part of the family and get dinner tonight at Renna's Pizza.
It's time for some straight talk. Picture this. Your favorite team is playing. You're streaming the game. 10 seconds left. Your team shoots. Oops, your data runs out.
Look, don't let that happen. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 25 gigs of high-speed data, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Join Team Straight Talk and get unlimited talk and text plus 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month.
Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart.
First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
Gold, did you know that Gatorade Zero has all the same electrolytes but with zero sugar?
I did know that because I drank some Gatorade Zero after I ran 2 miles at the gym this morning.
2? Please, I ran 3.
Did I mention I also was on a 6 incline?
You didn't, but that's interesting because that's 2 less than I was on.
Were you also running backwards? Because I was.
No.
Gatorade Zero, all the electrolytes with zero sugar, so you can get more out of zero.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, just a couple of weeks after the Phillies signed Bryce Harper to a record-setting contract, Mike Trout and the Angels set a new mark. ESPN's Jeff Passan reporting Trout and the Angels are finalizing the largest contract in professional sports history. The new 12-year deal starts this season and is worth more than $430 million. And Trout will be worth every single penny of that deal, believes ESPN's Tim Kirkjian.
He's had arguably the greatest first 7 full seasons of anyone in history. He gets better every single year, and there's no telling where this guy is going to end up, given where he is right now. That's how good he is. He is a transcendent player.
According to the Wall Street Journal, prosecutors have offered Patriots owner Robert Kraft and several other men a deal where charges would be dropped for soliciting prostitution at an illicit massage parlor in Florida, but the men would have to admit they would have been proven guilty at trial after they review the evidence. Attorneys for Kraft, asked about the report by ESPN's TJ Quinn, declined comment today.
Go ahead. Stream all the big games. Because with Straight Talk Wireless, you now get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month. Plus, unlimited talk and text. All on America's largest 4G LTE networks. Straight Talk Wireless. Only at Walmart. First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
And welcome back to the show, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, 4 o'clock hour. That means happy hour horn time, Coors. Don't forget about it. We're going cruising on the canoe and the happy hour horn.
Spur, you want to say it? Oh, okay.
Wait. You interrupted the horn there.
Well, I was trying to get Spurrier to say it, but I guess he must have left the building.
Well, he doesn't know the words. Something about star tenders.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, it's going to be grab a drink. So, Steve?
Grab a drink.
Get a shot.
Get a shot.
And tip your star tenders.
And tip your star tenders.
Thank you, Steve. Coach Spurrier.
That last one was kind of his toss between Spurrier and Dale Jr.
You know, they get mixed up.
They all kind of sound the same, don't they? Solid.
All right, Fallen, what you got?
Fallen, but besides that last segment we just did,
last segment was awesome.
No, I'm talking about the
Stewart.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about
Stewart's
me
Fallen.
trying to set
Stewart
it up.
wasn't here.
Stewart wasn't. That was the ball coach.
The head ball coach was in there.
Fallen. It's not really a fallen per se, as more of a happy trails. We'll see you later. Haloti Ngata announced his retirement in one of the most unique ways possible, on top of Mount Kilimanjaro. And he kind of said in an Instagram post on top of the mountain, he said, "Just a man standing on the top of the world with a heart full of gratitude. Thank you, Lord, for letting me play the game I love for 13 unforgettable seasons. I'm retiring on top," literally, obviously. "I might be finished playing football, but I'm holding the tight friendships, memories, and wisdom I've gained along the way." So props to him. Obviously, when it comes to his playing style, whatnot, one of the guys that kind of revolutionized that one technique of kind of being a freak athlete at the same time. He was 340 pounds, but the guy can move, and obviously he was strong. So props to him, man. We wish him all the best in retirement.
Yeah, it's cool that he did it a different way. I always want, it's kind of like college recruiting, right? I mean, how would you retire, or how would you say goodbye? And first of all, I think you kind of have to have people that care enough for you to say goodbye.
Exactly. That's why I went on Twitter and I was like, all right, I'm out. See you guys later. And that was it for me.
But it would be kind of fun to think about, like, how would you do that? In most of our worlds, you don't have to really worry about that because, one, people don't care, and two, it's a long way down the road. But as an athlete, it's over. Sometimes in your late 20s, sometimes in your early 30s, and at the worst.
We still do them in TV, though, for some reason. And it's funny to me because in the TV business, you bounce around a lot very early on. Did you do any goodbye speeches in your
I did,
your first couple markets?
I did somewhat of a goodbye. It was pretty quick. It wasn't this super eloquent thing, I don't believe, in Albany. I was there for 5 years, so it was okay, but it wasn't it wasn't anything long. Like, I kind of like those in TV. Like, especially, I'm talking a long time, you know? Like, actually, that's the like, Sam Kavar should have had a goodbye.
Yes.
Like, he didn't have one. Like, not that I saw. Like, they should have had a goodbye over there at Channel 4. And
even Dan's from the other side of town.
Dan's, that was weak. I mean, that was on them, too. I mean, this is a good time to rip. It's a good time to rip the other stations, I guess.
Yeah.
But seriously, Dan, what was like 30 seconds? I think we joke about it right now.
We joke about the length of it from time to time.
That's why when Dan ever leaves us, he will. We're going to give him like this 20-minute thing.
Oh, we'll do a full show. Yeah.
celebrate the career, but. I kind of like the TV ones. Like, if you think about in this market, if you grew up with people, or back home where I grew up with, whether it's a sportscaster or like Frank Carpano, works for the NBC in Providence. I mean, I interned for him. I've been watching him since I was a kid. He's been there, probably some 30 years. I think it's kind of cool for them to do the goodbye deal in our industry.
I follow an account on Twitter, Local TV Sports Problems. It really only applies to people in our business.
Yes.
But, like, occasionally they'll retweet the goodbye ones, and it'll be like this 23-year-old kid who spent 2 years in North Dakota, and they're saying goodbye to all the great friendships. I'm like,
silly.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Just do 15 seconds. Well, I'm out. See you later. Bye.
Or
and
the guy should be like, gosh, I didn't think I was ever getting out of here. Thank goodness I'm gone.
Suckers later. Yeah. Bigger and better things.
That is pretty good. That's pretty funny to see how that happens. But I guess if you think the national guys, right? Like, say Bob Costas, if he never interesting, I mentioned Hicken and Bob Costas in the same 1 minute.
The great feud of 2012.
But Costas, if he never shows back up, like he won't on NBC, I guess. Like, that would be kind of weird that he never.
He absolutely should have gotten one.
Officially departed.
Like eating his strawberries and cream.
He'll be on NBC though with the Olympics.
No, he's done.
Oh, he's done.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
They had a divorce.
Oh,
and so like he never got that chance. But like Johnny Miller.
Yep.
Had a nice long one and actually did it in a cool way. Like, see, I thought that was cool. Like, I wanted to see that night, and he did it on Saturday,
which was really
so he
cool.
wasn't the story on the back nine on Sunday, which was pretty cool. So it is interesting to see how they do it. All right, my fallen. I go to the NBA, and I've got a couple of things. It's a list of fallens in the NBA. One is the Greek Freak and LeBron James are out, not playing. The end of the NBA season is like, why don't we just stop it?
See, I'm pumped because I have a vested interest in Elfrid Payton continuing his triple-double
streak. By the
streak.
way, what is this thing about you and...
I've been on the Elfrid Payton hill for a very long time since he was back in Orlando.
It's not a big hill.
Nope. No, it's a very lonely hill.
But he's got 4 triple-doubles.
5 now.
5.
Yeah, and I think he plays Orlando tonight. I'd have to check on that, but I think they play tonight, so I'm on triple-double watch.
All right, Drive and Dish podcast. Check it out with Kuz. But anyway, so, first of all, LeBron, it feeds into my next fallen, and that is how much is load management going to become a term in basketball now because it's silly, and who made it up? Because it's stupid. And the other one now is I saw the old technical foul, and I don't know how you would explain it, but now is accumulation going to be a thing? Like the technical foul accumulation with Russell Westbrook? So you're seeing these terms. Like, where do these words come from to describe stuff in sports? And then I just have a feeling now accumulation and load management for the next 5 years are going to be big words.
Well, it seems like they come up with these words like when they hated the word tanking, right? Then the NBA finds another way to say tanking in a way without actually saying tanking, where the NBA can't step in and get them in trouble, essentially. It's what it seems like, because the technical foul thing, I always go back to the finals a few years back where Draymond Green got in trouble because he was kicking people. Yeah. And it kind of was an accumulation of it happened a bunch of times. He should have probably gotten suspended for a game when he did it to Steven Adams, against the Thunder. So it's
he
like
was kicking people in the cash and prizes.
Yes, he was. The cash and prizes.
So it's like
it was the ESPN 690 Steel Cup.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Let's go. Ringside Steel Cups. Cut that check. That's the second time we mentioned that. All right. Cut the check.
What about Westbrook? 16 technical fouls. Is he out of control? That's a lot.
It is a lot. I think I guess it depends on the player. Like with Westbrook, I kind of expect him to have a lot of technical fouls just because he seems like a very emotional, wear his emotion on his sleeve. Someone crosses him the wrong way, he's going to attack back. So I guess I don't see a problem with it. Like, obviously, he's got to bring him down, but I expect it with him, which sounds really bad.
Which is interesting, though, Kuz, because I don't. I think if I think technical foul guys, I think over the years, right, Dennis Rodman, like the Bill Laimbeers types, the
Ron Artest
guys, and now Draymond Green.
Draymond Green's one for sure.
So, like, those are the guys I think of. We're talking about Russell Westbrook in the same vein. We're talking about Harden, and we're talking about scorers and guys that put up prolific numbers. Those guys don't get technical fouls.
And I think
and because they get calls, maybe?
You're supposed to have a guy. You're supposed to have a guy to do that for you, like on a hockey
Kendrick
team.
Perkins.
You got the goon who goes after everybody.
Yeah,
That's his job.
Well, but like Steven Adams should be that guy.
Well, but then now they really need Steven Adams down low. And what now Paul George brings to the game, he's a better percentage-wise shooter than Westbrook. So maybe Westbrook has to take that kind of, enforcer role a little bit.
Yeah, it's unique, though.
Yeah.
I don't remember a scorer.
Let this guy do it.
I just don't. I don't remember a guy that gets technical fouls who gets triple-doubles.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing somebody, but...
No, that's a really good point.
He knows that's not a stat that counts towards triple-doubles, right?
He's going for a triple-double.
Well, he's got one. He's going on the season.
Quadruple-double coming up.
Checking.
Quadruple-doubles coming up.
Hey, Carmelo Anthony didn't, right? I mean, he wasn't like a...
No, maybe a few here or there.
Everybody gets technicals.
Durant went through a span where he was getting some technicals for a while there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Charles Barkley, not really a prolific scorer, but Barkley was...
Yeah, I don't know if Barkley was a big tech guy, but it seems like he would be, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
But you just, again, he's a rebounder. Like, he's a...
Well, he kind of
I know he's a scorer,
too,
but... it's just, it's odd. I just think it's odd. And I get it. By the way, I like Russell Westbrook a lot. I love... There are a few people you watch in sports and you see the effort level jump off the TV.
Yeah.
And he is one of those guys. He is that guy in the second minute of a game. He's that guy in the 25th minute of a game. He's in that guy in the 47th minute of a game.
I give him...
He's that guy in fashion as well. But
I give him almost all of the credit for Victor Oladipo's career turnaround at the Pacers is him going to Oklahoma City behind Westbrook, seeing how Westbrook works out and plays and just kind of studying that. I think that's why we have the Victor Oladipo that we have right now.
Interesting. Russell Westbrook's like the NBA's Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's like this workout freak, right?
Yeah.
Gets a ton out of his body, his skill set. And they really stopped the relationship there. But he does something that's odd. Like, I just don't think Westbrook getting technicals makes a lot of sense. And Antonio Brown obviously is a circus in his own right.
Blonde mustache.
Off the field. Though, did you see him at Derek Carr's kid's birthday party?
He got rid of it.
Jumping on the bounce house?
I didn't see it, no.
Yeah.
What, is the
He
blonde
lost,
mustache
by the
gone?
way. Who did he go up against? Because he lost.
I couldn't tell who that was. Was that Carr?
No, Carr didn't run. Someone else. I thought maybe it was someone from the team, but I couldn't tell.
Okay.
Kuz, can you confirm, is the blonde mustache
It's gone.
no
It's
more?
gone.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it's
gone.
gone.
Okay. I didn't see that memo.
Yes. He did that while you were
You
fighting.
can't show up to a kid's birthday party with that on.
No, that's scary.
If you're making that much money, you can.
Hey,
do whatever you want.
good news for the Miami Hurricanes. We're going to talk Dan Mullen and the Florida Gators, but next we're going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama Pro Day. They got a couple of guys that could be Jaguars. We'll check in at Alabama Pro Day, and stick around because we're giving out NCAA tournament tickets on the show today on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Whether you're buying a new or a pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
The value and the quality are unmatched, definitely unbeaten in the jewelry industry.
Meet Diamonds Direct's Ken Holman, who has spent a lifetime in jewelry stores but says no place even comes close to Diamonds Direct.
Having been in the industry for 40 years now, there is no other company that can duplicate or do what we do for our customers when it comes to value and when it comes to customer service.
It starts right at the source. Diamonds Direct's unique advantage is the ability to cut out layers of middlemen in the diamond process, from the mines to the showroom.
Our starting cost just from the beginning is so much less than a typical retail jewelry store. So we're able to pass that amazing savings on to our customers.
So you always get a bigger, better quality diamond at Diamonds Direct. And you can also get her that one-of-a-kind ring from top designers like Tacori, Verragio, Henry Dossi, Simon G, and dozens more.
It's just incredible how many amazing lines.
Diamonds Direct, combining unbeatable value, unrivaled selection, and uncompromising quality. Get store hours and directions at diamondsdirect.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Picture this. Your favorite team is playing. You're streaming the game. 10 seconds left. Your team shoots. Oops, your data runs out.
Look, don't let that happen. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 25 gigs of high-speed data, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Join Team Straight Talk and get unlimited talk and text plus 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month.
Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart.
First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck in no time. So you can haul gravel, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. And now get a 1 Series for just $99 a month at your nearest participating John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. 0% annual percentage rate. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
The spread and that college-style offense. Listen, in 3 years, you might see the Big 12 be run by the NFL because it's the exact same kind of offense that's going on here.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Good news for you Miami Hurricanes. Tate Martell granted an NCAA hardship waiver immediate eligibility. Look out, Gators. Here comes Tate Martell, potentially. Weber shrugs. Hey, who cares? It doesn't matter. In Orlando on August 24th, which starts football season way too early. But it will be Miami against Florida in Orlando for that kickoff of the 150th college football season. It'll be on ESPN on a Saturday night at about 7 o'clock. And Tate Martell cleared, so that's big news for Miami and Manny Diaz. Talk about it a little bit more later on, what it means and what it could mean. But I think we'll have to see how that develops. It at least gives them an option. The former Ohio State quarterback, as these quarterbacks continue to just kind of move around now, multiple schools, sometimes more than two schools in their careers, as the transfer thing has really opened up. And these hardships are allowing for more of that to happen. They are setting precedent. And whether that's good or bad, I think it's certainly a debatable thing. We're going to go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And by the way, we will get to the Florida Gators, and Dan Mullen talked on a bunch of topics today, so we'll do that in a bit. But I want to go to Tuscaloosa right now. Alabama Pro Day. Is it feasible that the Jacksonville Jaguars could take 3 Alabama guys in this draft that, like, in the first 3 picks? Feasible. Jonah Williams as their right tackle, Irv Smith in the second round. And then what if a guy like Josh Jacobs slips down the board, or it was Irv Smith and they try to jump back in the second round or late in the second round and they get the running back too? I mean, I think they'll like all 3 players. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's why Alabama Pro Day has some value here in Jacksonville, because I tell you what, if I'm a betting man, I'd probably say they get one of those guys. I mean, or there's a decent chance that they have them high on the board. I mean, you never know how the draft unveils itself. But one of those guys certainly in play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So let's go to Tuscaloosa right now. We bring in Ryan Hennessy, former UNF guy, now working in Dothan, Alabama. And Ryan, Stuart Weber just told me that Dothan, Alabama is it like the peanut capital of the world, or there's a peanut festival? What's going on there?
It is, Brian. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It is the peanut capital of the world. We've got little peanuts throughout the entire city. Like Police Officer Peanut, and then they have the Peanut Festival. Actually, right when I got there, right after I graduated, we went to it. It's a big festival. It's a football town, Brent. Let me tell you that. You got to pick right when you get there. They told me, they said, you better not say Roll Tide on air, because someone that likes War Eagle is going to get mad at you. So, you got to pick your battles there. But yeah, I'm in Tuscaloosa right now, Bama Pro Day, and my first one. And I'm sure you've been to a lot of different pro days, Brent. But I mean, what I want to go to. I mean, a lot of prospects, like you just said, coming out of Jacksonville, potentially going into Jacksonville, and a lot of eyebrows were raised today.
What is Ryan? What is a Tuscaloosa Pro Day like? I mean, is it like all the other ones? I mean, I saw Bill Belichick there rocking the Alabama Crimson Tide pullover, and I mean, were there a ton of people with the guys that could go in the first 2 to 3 rounds for Alabama?
Well, it was, I mean, definitely crazy. It was tough to get a little shot because the media's got to go away from where, obviously, the scouts are. But, yeah, Bill Belichick, I don't know someone gave him that Alabama T-shirt or jacket, but he was rocking the Alabama Crimson Tide. And just so many scouts, so many GMs. I was told 8 GMs were there. The 2 Bay Area, Mayock and Lynch, were there. Some coaches. I believe it was the 2 coaches for Belichick. And I was told Zach Taylor was there as well. And just scouts from different teams, some alumni. C.J. Mosley there was for his brother, who was obviously trying to go into the draft. So there were just a lot of different people there. And really all eyes, Brent, we kind of texted about this before, was Josh Jacobs. Because of the limited ability he had at the Combine, really this pro day was where all eyes were on him. So, and he was impressive. He was really impressive.
Hey, what's up, Brian? This is Austin Lane here. Listen, before we get into the Jaguars' possible draft picks here from Alabama, I wanted to touch on a player, David Cornwell, who was kind of a forgotten guy at Alabama, obviously. I think he went to Nevada and then went to a D2 school. Were the rumors true? Was he actually at that pro day today?
Cornwell, I didn't see. Honestly, I don't want to tell you yes and say no. My eyes were on people, like I said, Harris and Mac Wilson. I didn't see a Cornwell there at all, but I could be wrong. There were so many different people there, but I don't want to tell you the wrong one. But
that's not out of the norm on these pro days, by the way. Like at Florida Pro Day next week, Florida and Florida State have their pro days next week, but a JU kid could end up at the pro day. So to your point, Austin, that could have been, but obviously from Ryan's standpoint, he doesn't care about he doesn't care about that guy. Like he wouldn't have cared about the guy.
Yeah, but you're right though, Brent, because I was told that we have Alabama State here, and I was told some smaller colleges had their pro day together with Alabama State, so that could definitely be the case with that, because I think Alabama State does have a tackle going potentially first round, so they brought people all together for that. But it was an experience, guys. It really was. I mean, for my first one to see really greatness, Bill Belichick and Nick Saban just talking, and for a pretty long time, and you'd love to be in that conversation, hear what they're both saying. But like I said before, a lot of big names that you said potentially going to go in the first, second round, and on that cusp of first and second round. And that's why it was so important that teams could really jump back in to get one of these Alabama players who's pretty much been a star all year long for the Crimson Tide.
Hey, Ryan, Stuart Weber here. I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick was pulling one of my old tricks. He probably showed up wearing like an Auburn shirt, and they said, no, we need to get you a free shirt. It totally works, by the way. If you ever want free shirt, you just wear the other team's shirt.
Yeah, like Belichick needs free stuff.
Hey, he might have taken one of my tricks. But, I have covered Alabama and Auburn just for my time when I was working in Columbus, Georgia, so I can definitely attest to what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, right on the border.
Yeah, right on the border, right up there.
And you get a little bit of Georgia Bulldogs, too, so you get the best of three right there.
Yeah, I mean, you can call it the best of three. It was three teams that I was there to cover.
Not for a Gator.
Not for a Gator. It wasn't as great. But, no, it was a really, right in the middle of a football country. And that's where you are. You're right in the middle of football country. You said it. You can't step over the wrong line when you're talking about the Crimson Tide or the War Eagle Tigers, of course. But, yeah, I mean, that pro day experience and having shot quite a few of them, it's so hard for the media members to gauge like the actual numbers and the times. But the best thing that we as media members can really pick up on it is just the scene and just how many people are there and how intently they're looking and how many conversations you see these scouts having with the players off on the side or after they run a 40 and things like that.
Oh, it's incredible. And I mean, to be coming out of, like I said, I don't want to make stuff right now about me, but to be coming out of UNF and to be thrown right into the Iron Bowl. Tua Tagovailoa was at the 5-yard line, and I'm shooting low-angle footage. I'm sure you guys know about that. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's lefty. He rolls out left, scores his first touchdown, almost takes out my legs. And so it's been an experience. But this pro day in particular, to see the scouts and to see how close they were, and to see the scouts really, I don't think people understand, they interact with the players, and they run these drills. Actually, the Jaguar scout was one of the main guys that was running the entire event. Now, we covered Troy as well, and he was there running that entire event. So these scouts really show up and run the show. Nick Saban's just in the background kind of watching them all do this. So that was really interesting to see that as well. And like I said, the Jaguar scout, an older gentleman, he was really running the show today, telling everyone where to go and what to do. And then you have these individual ex-running backs that are scouts now that are running the running back drills and stuff like that. So it was an interesting format there.
Hey, listen, I know you're covering a lot of guys. Ryan Hennessy with us here. He works in Dothan, Alabama, but was in Tuscaloosa for Alabama Pro Day. Former UNF guy, so knows the area really well. And I really just asked you, and we were texting back and forth, keep an eye on a couple of guys. Jonah Williams is a guy that could be a top 10 pick on the offensive line. We don't know anything about offensive linemen. If you watch a lot of tape, sure you do, great. But that's not that the average football fan watches. And then there's what I think is another intriguing guy, because it's such a position of need for the Jags, is tight end and Irv Smith. And we're going to go in length with Austin about Irv Smith a little bit later on. But give me anything from those two guys that you noticed, anything about what people are saying about those two guys that might be good for the listeners here in Jacksonville to hear.
Well, Jonah didn't run today. He didn't run today. We weren't allowed into the weight room, which obviously is the most important thing for an offensive lineman. But it was really impressive to see him, and I studied him before I came to Alabama. I mean, he played right tackle, and I know you mentioned playing right tackle. He played right tackle for 15 games, left tackle for 29, started all his games here at Alabama as a junior. So that really stood out to me, 6'5", 301. The guy's a stud. I mean, he's just been a complete animal on the offensive side of the ball for the Crimson Tide. I mean, Tua Tagovailoa, you got a big job covering him, so that's important. But Irv Smith, he really bounce this year from last year. 3 touchdowns last year, 7 this year, 710 yards this year with 7 touchdowns. But a lot of people are the big question. People were talking about this today at the pro day. Was the size at the combine. He went in at 6'2", and on the Alabama.com, when we really profile him, it says 6'4". Now, you guys know more than I do. I believe that's a huge difference. And so that was the big question: is what kind of tight end are you getting? And I know in Jacksonville, Mercedes Lewis for years has been that other tackle pretty much on that offensive side of the ball. So Irv Smith, yes, he's a great pass catcher, great route runner. I've been told one of the better ones in the draft, and I know they've got 2 Iowa guys that are slated before him. But they're saying comparisons I read on CBS to Trey Burton because he's a little bit undersized. But I don't know. What are you guys seeing on him? Do you kind of agree with that? With the he can't block as well as he can pass, because they do have another blocking tight end in Hale Hedges that was also a pro today. He was more of the blocking guy for the Tide this season.
I think we're talking about Irv Smith. It's the fact that he's still at a pretty raw position. He's still learning the spot and everything like that. A lot of people compared him to O.J. Howard and the fact that he was a big-bodied guy, a freak athlete. But then, obviously, when the combine comes around, he weighs in at 6'2". That kind of threw teams off a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, 6'2", 240, still a big guy. But I think teams are intrigued with his athleticism, the fact that he can block, he can run routes, kind of like O.J. Howard did. Now, don't get me wrong. I think O.J. Howard is a special player in the fact that he was a little bigger. He was that red zone threat. I think teams might be a little hesitant on Irv Smith just because he is lacking some of that size. Now, whether he can still run those crisp routes, we shall see. I mean, I didn't watch the pro day today, so I'm not sure. But another question I was going to ask you, too, is the fact that, so we're talking about Jonah Williams, a guy that started out right tackle, actually transitioned to left tackle, and when I see film on him, it's funny because he's a great left tackle. I mean, he's probably going to go top 10 and play left tackle, but he's got that right tackle mentality. And in that, he's going to finish every single block. He's kind of that nasty player, which you want to have a right tackle. Do you sense that Jonah Williams would be a better left tackle or right tackle? Because he is lacking a little athleticism from what I see on film and things like that, but he makes up with that with his technique. So do you see him playing right tackle or left tackle more?
Well, you got to think about who played quarterback for Alabama, too. I mean, that blind side is important, but with a lefty quarterback in Tua, is it really the blind side? And that was something that I kind of noticed this year, was that he played great. He was one of the stars, but, he played on that left side, which wasn't the blind side for Alabama, which, he's been in since day one. He's been on all the draft profiles that he was going to be a top 10 pick, but you see him slipping a little bit. They worked him out on both sides today, I noticed, and they really looked at him. I mean, that was probably the biggest circle, was him and the running backs. That was the most attention, but I could see him playing right tackle. I mean, what kind of Alabama party would you have down in Jacksonville with Cam and him right and left side? I think that would make a pretty good 1-2 combo right there.
Well, yeah, if you're going to go in the trenches, Alabama's a good place to start.
Exactly. It was hard for me not to ask about the Washington Crimson Tide to the Redskins that are now the Crimson Tide over up in D.C. But the one thing, Brent, that I wanted to bring up, though, was the running backs. And this is really a toss-up with Josh Jacobs. And that was the big thing today. Everyone was waiting to see him run, and it was disappointing, though.
It was 4-6, right? Yeah.
It was like 4-6-5. I mean, I just looked on Twitter right before, because they don't scream it over to the media, obviously, and they don't give us our own stopwatch or anything from all the way back there. But 4-6 around, I saw, and Damian in the combine ran a 4.57. Now, granted, 0.03 seconds, but Josh Jacobs was returning kicks. He was doing pretty much it all out of the backfield. He was catching balls. And another thing that I noticed about him, especially in the Clemson game, he was getting those snaps on 4th down and 1, where Saban really was in a tight bind, and he had to go to Josh Jacobs to get those 3 yards. And that's something that I really noticed as he got more and more. And this is a guy that wasn't a highly recruited guy, really bet on himself, and went out in his junior year. And that really is going to hurt Nick Saban next year, losing both of those guys. So those are 2 impressive players that Alabama's really going to lose, obviously, in the running back position.
Hey, Ryan, really good stuff, man. We appreciate you checking in from Tuscaloosa. Good to hear from you again. And good luck over there in Dothan. Make sure you bring us back some peanuts next time you come back home.
Absolutely, Brent. Thanks for having me on.
And don't get pulled over.
I'm out in front of the Starbucks. You know how it goes. You got to show wherever you got to be.
Appreciate you taking a couple minutes. Drive safe, man. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Brent.
All right. Ryan Hennessy went to the University of North Florida, checking in for Pro Day. Good stuff. those we got to take a break. But when we come back, let's talk about it, because I also saw it's on the running back thing, who I think if you talk about Irv Smith, Jonah Williams, and the running back Josh Jacobs, I think that's probably on the back burner for the Jags in the first 2 rounds. I would be surprised if they went there. But I also heard he runs so angry that the 4.6 might not hurt him so much. Mm-hmm. He runs tough and physical, and so some people are going to, that's going to pop now at him, the 4.6, but others are going to be like, watch the tape. Watch the tape. He's playing in the SEC. He's playing for Alabama. Don't worry about the 4.6.
And a thing to keep in mind with him, too, is he's good at, obviously getting passes outside the backfield. So he's a good third down back, not really familiar with pass protection too much, but as far from a receiving standpoint, a guy you want on your team.
Yeah, and I also want to talk a little bit more about Irv Smith. I know you did a little more work on him, and the right tackle, left tackle situation. Can the Jags draft a right tackle top 10? We'll talk about it next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Aaron, and that beeping sound you hear off in the distance, that's the Brinks truck backing up to Mike Trout's driveway. The Angels reportedly opening up that checkbook to the tune of $430 million over 12 years. The question is it the right move? And Stephen A. thinks he knows.
What is good for baseball and what is good for the world of sports is an organization stepping up. There is no way in hell that we need to be the organization that lost this guy. You don't lose a Mike Trout.
Now, in his career, Trout has never placed lower than 4th in the MVP voting. He's been Rookie of the Year and MVP twice. Last year, he hit .312 with 39 homers and 79 RBI in just 140 games. Meanwhile, at the bank, the Jags announced they've agreed to terms with former Green Bay linebacker Jake Ryan, and Blake Bortles has landed on his feet in Los Angeles. He'll be carrying the clipboard for the Rams next year. Download the ESPN 690 bracket and play along with Brent, Austin, and others right here. Just go to ESPN690.com.
The 2019 Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio is here, and it's better than ever. It's your chance to meet the personalities on the new ESPN 690. Sit in the front row and ask your questions to athletes in town, sports analysts, and experts. You'll be able to see them in person. It's going to be the best year yet. So listen to ESPN 690 for your chance to win your way in throughout the year. It's the Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio. Brought to you by Harrell and Harrell.
The ultimate alternative rock tour. Bush and Live. The ultimate tour. Sunday, August 18th at Daly's Place. The celebration of 16 Stone from Bush. And Throwing Copper from Live. Special guest Our Lady Peace. The ultimate tour. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
As we reach our 67th year of serving the Jacksonville community, we are grateful for all the support we've received since our founding in 1952 at NAS Jacksonville. Today, ViStar still holds true to our military roots and is honored to provide ongoing assistance and financial education and to sponsor and participate in more than 200 events and charities each year. We thank our military and veterans for the sacrifices they've made for all of us and our community for putting their trust in us. ViStar Credit Union. We never forget that it's your money. Insured by NCUA.
It's time for another shout out to all the North Florida poker fans. This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Poker Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. It's time for the May $30,000 guaranteed tournament in Orange Park with 4 Flights of Fury. Play March 22nd or the 23rd at noon or 7 o'clock p.m. With just a $200 buy-in and a forgiving structure, this is a tournament you won't want to miss. For more information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Until next time, this is Allie saying, I hope to see you at the final table.
It's March. There's basketball. And now there's ESPN 690, The Bracket. Go to ESPN690.com. Click on the bracket logo and fill it out. Play against Brent and Austin from Action Sports Jacks. The winner gets a smoker, gift card, and more. Play The Bracket with ESPN 690.
The winner gets tickets to Rolling Stones, a meat smoker, and more. Play The Bracket with ESPN 690 right now at ESPN690.com.
You watch Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jacks is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Hey, what's happening? Checking in from Tuscaloosa, Alabama Pro Day. And again, they've got guys that the Jags, I think, would have if you really concentrate on the top 40 or 50 players on the board, the Jags probably have 3 of those guys in Jacobs, Irv Smith, and Jonah Williams, I would think, unless they're red flagging someone for some reason I don't know. And from a position of need, I think the running back is debatable in Jacobs. I think that's more of a third-round selection for the Jags. They have 2 picks in the 3rd round. I think that's where they'll go. I would be shocked if they invest a 2nd-round pick in a running back. What I did want to ask you guys, I thought about this coming in. So we have 3 tight ends in this draft that everybody thinks is better than everybody else, yet it's a deep tight end draft. Is there more of a position of need right now for the Jags in tight end? Is it the number 1 position?
It is. It has to be, especially with the offense that they're trying to put in. I believe it will be the number 1 need in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, the way they sit right now, James O'Shaughnessy's going to visit other people. It doesn't look like he's coming back. Safarian Jenkins let go. I guess he could come back, but if nobody wants the guy, I'm not sure why the Jags would want the guy back, or he would have been signed by now, unless it's an injury reason. And they just got the Greg Swaim guy. But, seriously, they've got very little at the tight end spot. They now have receivers. They've got enough offensive linemen. They have Leonard Fournette in the backfield and Rawls, and they'll do other things there. And I can tell you, you could say running back is still a need because you need 3. Yeah. But they have nobody at tight end. So what if?
Jeff Swaim.
What if?
The star.
What if my dream comes true and they pick Hockenson at 7, and Irv Smith's on the board at like 35.
Back-to-back TEs?
Tight end 30, to start off a draft.
What about it?
Me personally, what I think? I'm not mad at that. See, what drives me crazy are the talking heads that say that we shouldn't get a tight end at number 7. Yeah. That it's too high of a pick.
I hate the value crap.
Well,
stop with the value crap. You shouldn't take a punter or a kicker. I get it, but that's it.
You can't compare past drafts to this year because the game is always evolving, especially with Jacksonville now. If you look at John DeFilippo's targets, where the receivers have the most success, it's been from the tight end. If you look for Nick Foles' most success, it's come from throwing to the tight ends, whether it was Selleck back in the day, Ertz. The tight ends are a necessity. So don't think of the Jacksonville, if they took tight end number 7, don't think of it as a tight end. Think of it as a pass catcher. Think of it as a weapon. And if you need a weapon at number 7, then go get it. It drives me so crazy where it's like, well, they should wait until maybe the 2nd round to take a tight end because it's a tight end. Like, who was the highest tight end ever taken? Probably like Vernon Davis.
Yeah. Top 10 guy,
yeah,
right?
And granted, Vernon Davis had a monster work. I think he ran a 4.3.
He was freaky.
He was a freak of nature. So you can definitely justify taking him top 10 even back then. But now, the way the game's evolved, where the tight end is so essential, whether you're running the ball, whether you're catching the ball, you got to have that weapon. So if you see the best possible tight end, whether it's Hockenson like Brent wants or it's Fant like I want, you go take him. And you don't worry about what people are going to say.
Yeah, it's interesting what you were just saying because you think about the needs that the Jaguars had, right? A right tackle, a pass-catching receiver, and tight end. Well, the tight end can be all of those in one if you get the right guy.
That's a good point.
Because that's the guy who can help with blocking. He can help out whoever that right tackle you end up getting is, and he can help in the pass game as well if you're getting the right guy. So, like you said, don't think of him as a tight end. Think of him as a guy who can help in all these areas that the Jaguars need help in.
And making plays. And by the way, you bring up Nick Foles, and Nick Foles has been very good in those situations, but I give you John DeFilippo instead. And DeFilippo in Cleveland, we talked to Gary Barnidge a month ago on this show about DeFilippo. Barnidge had his career year with Cleveland with DeFilippo as the offensive coordinator. Then you go to Philadelphia, and again, you mentioned, right, Ertz and Trey Burton was there that year under DeFilippo. And then where does he go next? Minnesota. Kyle Rudolph. And we talked to him at the Super Bowl, and he raves about John DeFilippo. Think about the tight end. Golly, man, the last 3 years, this guy's had 3 tight ends at the Jags. I mean, in the history of the franchise, haven't had a tight end that's put up numbers like that. And I'm not saying Gary Barnidge's career overall. I mean, listen, Mercedes Lewis had a nice career. Brady back in the day. I mean, they've had nice players. But nobody's had the year any of those 3 guys have had at the tight end position. So DeFilippo, he, first of all, knows what that position needs to have and looks like in terms of a good player. So from a scouting standpoint, I think he'll be very good. And secondly, I think even more than Nick Foles and anybody inside that building, he is salivating at these first 3 tight ends and someone that could be a star. And the other way to look at it is what I say. This is why value is stupid. This is why like you said, it changes. It used to be quarterback, pass rusher, offensive lineman, and usually a left tackle in the top 10. That's the only thing you should take. If you're doing something else, you're really taking a leap, and it's dangerous to do that. Well, what's jumped up in recent years? Cornerback, right? Because the passing game is so
I was going to say, look at the Jags'
elaborate.
last 4 first-rounders. The 2 that are still here are the cornerback and the running back. The quarterback and the pass rusher, they're both gone.
Yes, true. And the running back, by the way, is an outlier. A lot of people will argue until they're blue in the face about the running back position. And by the way, I'm usually a guy that says you don't need running back in the top 5. But Saquon Barkley has really worked out well for the Giants. I think you look at some of these guys, and Fournette worked out well his rookie season. We'll see where it lands. But my other part of that is not only left tackle now, but right tackle is big in the NFL. Right tackle has an increased value in the NFL in recent years. So the last part of my sell on tight ends, and I'm not selling the Jags to take 2 tight ends, but I would think about it. If you're that empty in that position, I would think about it if you could get one of these guys and Irv Smith in the second round. It would cross my mind. My point on Hockenson is, if you think he's this good, and you think he's a 6-time Pro Bowler in 12-year career, well, that's as safe of a pick as you can make in the top 10. You getting a 6-time Pro Bowler, I don't really care if you are grabbing a kicker. If you're getting a 6-time Pro Bowler, you're getting a 6-time Pro Bowler. So forget about the value in this position. It's about the player, man. And if you project Hockenson to be a better player at his position than Jonah Williams to be at his position the next 5 to 10 years, this is a no-brainer then.
But it's not about just position. It's about how that position fits your team. Look no further than last year. The Indianapolis Colts draft a guard in the top 10, Quentin Nelson. How did that pay off for him? First team All-Pro. How the Colts do this year?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And probably already pegged for Canton.
Exactly. So if that guy fits your mold, if he fits your team need, go take him. Don't worry about value.
It goes back to best player available at the end of the day. I mean, best player, if you live to best player available.
Well, best player available that can fit your team needs.
Yeah, that's true. You want to fit both, right?
Yes.
If you can make that perfect match. And again, it just depends how the Jags have this guy Hockenson and Fant rated. That's what it comes down to. We can't speak to that. We don't see the board. Whatever they value him at is like, it's the same thing with Haskins. I've heard the Jags don't value him as a top 15 guy. That's probably why they went out and got Foles, or they would have waited or gone up and got a Haskins. That's my understanding of it. Stay in your lane. Next on ESPN 690. See you, Stuart.
Bye.
You know you love the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
We've got limited bathrooms here in the building, and sometimes on occasion, if they have a room empty, I'm allowed to go in between shows and use a bathroom to freshen up. I hear people coming in, and I'm just yelling, "Wait a minute!" But my plan gets exposed when I hear, "Hey, Dan Le Batard!"
The Dan Le Batard Show, now 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
As we reach our 67th year of serving the Jacksonville community, we are grateful for all the support we've received since our founding in 1952 at NAS Jacksonville. Today, ViStar still holds true to our military roots and is honored to provide ongoing assistance and financial education and to sponsor and participate in more than 200 events and charities each year. We thank our military and veterans for the sacrifices they've made for all of us and our community for putting their trust in us. ViStar Credit Union. We never forget that it's your money. Insured by NCUA.
Whether you're buying a new or a pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martin of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers you wholesale prices with premium service. And most important, TireOutlet.com has always had a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, check out TireOutlet.com today.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
If Dell Demps had moved, Anthony Davis as general manager for the New Orleans Pelicans, he would have been fired. You know, you had teams in smaller markets on the phone calling him, imploring him not to capitulate to the demands.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
What you got on the magic whiteboard? Is it anything to do with our dream trip on the canoe?
Nope, Flat Earth. I have a TV show idea.
There should be a reality show where flat earthers have to find the edge of the world. Where would you go?
Watch it? What do you mean? I mean, I feel like if there's like Finding Sasquatch and whatnot, there's definitely a demographic for that type of show as well.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
I mean, the shows that people watch, the stuff that people watch.
I'm not even going to say anything because I'm bad, dude. I'm not bad when it comes to reality.
What's the dumbest thing you watch?
Oh, anything on Cartoon Network, like, yeah, at night.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. I mean, compared to some other stuff on Cartoon Network, yeah. Like me and my wife watch all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, Brent, I'll set the scene for you. There's one show on Adult Swim called Mr. Pickles 666 that me and my wife always watch, and it's basically a dog that's possessed by a demon, and he just kind of causes mischief and whatnot around town, and it's funny and we love it, and that's probably why we're together.
Equate this for me. Is it like is this like? I have no idea what you're talking about. By
Mr.
the way,
Pickles,
like,
yeah.
no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So is this
animated?
Yeah, is it
It's
South
animated.
Park like?
It is South Park like. Imagine like, so it's animated. It's like Leave It to Beaver, but a really messed up version of Leave It to Beaver, where the dog is obviously possessed by a demon, and that's all I can explain to you.
It's like South Park meant Leave It to Beaver.
Kinda, but the dog is into mischief. Like I said, I mean, I don't want to get too detailed into it because we have sponsors that we have to respect.
Yeah, friend, my guess is that it's not very. It's Adult
not
Swim
PG.
for a reason.
It is Adult Swim for a reason. That is correct. So me and my wife will watch that
sounds like
sometimes.
a stupid show.
Hey, I'm not saying it's genius television, but we like it.
I watched a stupid movie last night, and I get hooked on stupid movies.
What do you got?
It was, I think I have the right name of it, Date Night.
Date Night. Is that with Steve Carell?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it. It didn't look that good to me, so I just...
No, it was dumb. It
dumb,
was just, like, my wife and I are sitting there watching it, but we're staying up till the end, and we're like, what? This is so stupid.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. So there are just a lot of dumb things on that people watch. Like, the attraction to it is amazing. The amount of viewership and clicks and it's just insane. Insane. I was getting my haircut today, and they were talking about one. I don't even know what they said. There was somebody in Jacksonville, and shoot, what did they say it was? Something belly, something. I don't know. It was a YouTube thing where they basically do like crazy things.
Yeah.
Kind of like what was that other thing? That Jackass thing.
Yeah.
And so it might have been something along those lines. But the actual kids that were doing the stuff were like from Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's what they were saying. I have no idea. I mean, so this is all secondhand. This might be false reporting, fake news.
Yeah.
But And apparently they're like making a ton of money doing this thing on YouTube. Something Belly. I thought she said it was, but I don't know. So it's amazing what exists, is my point. But in this day and age, like we were talking before, we're having some fun with the demographics. People will find it, man.
Yeah.
They'll find it. And some of it's really good. Like, there's a lot of really good stuff out there. Like, I was thinking today, I was reading a piece on Mike Trout. And I actually, like, if you go back and if you talk to old-time journalists, right? Talk to the newspaper guys, been in the newspaper business for decades. Really hardcore journalists.
The OGs, yep.
And I think I think they would say, man, journalism has died. Journalism is not where it used to be. Journalism is blah, blah, blah. I might argue differently. Like, I find a lot of stories that I would not have seen before because of Twitter, because of Facebook, because of there are more stories shared amongst that now I'm privy to, whether it's from overseas or out west, or just, I used to read the local paper. And maybe I'll read the USA Today. Like, I really like the USA Today. And then I would get the sporting news. And, everybody got Sports Illustrated. So you'd see bits and pieces. But I just think we have at our disposal now more journalism. And so you see these pieces that are really good, unique sometimes. And I almost argue if it's better than it's ever been.
I strongly disagree with you there. I guess I share the old school mentality. I'm going to tell you a quick story. So obviously I went to Murray State. I was a journalism mass communications major. So my plan after playing ball was, to probably get in journalism, maybe a newspaper or whatnot, some kind of print media, because that's what I specialized in. And I remember being in Chicago, and I remember going on Twitter, and there was a giant article about Jay Cutler on ESPN. I'm like, well, that's my teammate. Let's check it out. And the whole article, and, this was ESPN, this is Sports Illustrated. It was everywhere. It spread like wildfire. And this is during the season. The article was Jay Cutler is having trouble being a single parent. And I'm like, what? So what ended up happening was, and Jay Cutler's wife, her name is Kristen Cavallari, who I guess is a pretty famous actress. Who's probably.
You want to talk about stupid shows that people watch? My girlfriend watches her show.
Okay, there you go.
And I sit there watching it like, what is this?
Well, she was on some MTV show back in the day. I think The Hills. I had no idea.
Yeah, I think it's The Hills.
I had no idea until I read the article. But what happened was she was doing some kind of like video shoot or something like that. So Jay had the kids at home. And Jay texted Kristen like, so-and-so, like he's getting into this and I can't handle this. You need to come home. Like, joking, right? Well, Kristen put it on Instagram, and, she's a famous person, I believe. So
she got a lot of response. Yeah.
So ESPN got a hold of that, was like, Jay Cutler can't handle being a single dad. But it was like with a serious tone. It wasn't like joking around.
Yeah.
And like, this is during the season. So like, I saw that. I'll never forget. I saw that article. I retweeted it from SportsCenter, from ESPN, and I said, if this is what journalism's like, I don't want to be involved with it anymore.
Yeah, well, you get that too.
No, and I understand that.
Like everything else, you get both ends of the spectrum, more so than we've ever got both ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. But it was just, I guess it was disheartening to see that, because obviously, I mean, the apex of writing would be, like an ESPN gig or something like that. To write for ESPN, football, whatever. And like seeing that and seeing like that was the front page, that's what they were promoting. It kind of turned me off to the whole thing, man. So that's kind of why I was just like, if this is what it's going to become, maybe I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I do think you have to pick there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that to weed through. I would agree with you. Mm-hmm. So we just get so much more of it. But there's a lot of good stuff too.
No,
we just don't talk about the good stuff as much.
Yeah.
I do think the reason we all live in a travel ball, society now when it comes to sports is because of the dance people.
Yeah.
The competitions and all that stuff. I also think the reason why we live in the world we today is because of Real World.
Yeah.
It was MTV's Real World. Real World. Like, that said it all, right? What was the beginning? What was the genesis of this?
I think Real World and definitely Survivor 2 was big, actually.
But Real World was before.
Was the original. Oh, that was the original.
You want me to bring it all back for you to a stupid show? There's a show on Netflix called The 2000s. You should watch it. They go into this.
I'm all set.
I love how that sentence is a stupid show. You should watch it.
Yeah. No, well, it's more of a documentary about the 2000s, but they talk about Survivor and Real World and
American Idol.
American Idol. There was what's the one where they travel?
The Amazing Race.
Amazing Race. Yeah, that was
I've never
another
met anybody that actually watches that show religiously. I don't know how The Amazing Race is still on. Have you met one person that's actually watched that show? That's like, I gotta get home for The Amazing Race. It's starting pretty soon.
Not really. Like,
I've
I
never
can't
met
believe Big
anybody.
Brother's still around.
Watch yourself.
Yeah, so you
Oh,
like it.
Kuz isn't a
Weber
Big
likes
Brother.
it.
I love Big
Weber
Brother
loves
now.
it too.
Oh,
He religiously watches that.
I would audition for that. I'd go on Big Brother for 3
You know
months.
what's funny? The only time I remember Amazing Race is because my wife said, and I don't know why, because I didn't watch it, so I really don't know why she said this, and I don't think she's right because I'm terrible with directions. But like, I would be terrible at that part of it. But she's like, it's one of the only nice things she's ever said to me. She's like, you would be pretty good on that show.
Huh?
And I have no idea what she meant by it.
Interesting. Well, speaking of bad journalism, we got Stay in Your Lane coming up next if you guys are interested for some more random topics.
We were supposed to have that segment. We also are going to give NCAA tournament tickets away to the first session this next hour. And we hear from Dan Mullen coming up next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Aaron, and that beeping sound you hear off in the distance, that's the Brinks truck backing up to Mike Trout's driveway. The Angels reportedly opening up that checkbook to the tune of $430 million over 12 years. The question is it the right move? And Stephen A. thinks he knows.
What is good for baseball and what is good for the world of sports is an organization stepping up. There is no way in hell that we need to be the organization that lost this guy. You don't lose a Mike Trout.
Now, in his career, Trout has never placed lower than fourth in the MVP voting. He's been Rookie of the Year and MVP twice. Last year, he hit .312 with 39 homers and 79 RBI in just 140 games. Meanwhile, at the bank, the Jags announced they've agreed to terms with former Green Bay linebacker Jake Ryan, and Blake Bortles has landed on his feet in Los Angeles. He'll be carrying the clipboard for the Rams next year. Download the ESPN 690 bracket and play along with Brent, Austin, and others right here. Just go to ESPN690.com.
Whether you're buying a new or a pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. A monster payday for Angels star Mike Trout. ESPN's Jeff Passan reporting Trout and the team finalizing the largest contract in professional sports history. A new 12-year deal starting this season worth more than $430 million. It's a win-win for the team and Trout, explains Passan.
Either they need to win in the next 5 or 6 years, or they have the guy who's going to go down as the best player to ever play baseball as a lifetime Los Angeles Angel. And that, I think, is as much as anything why they were willing to do this deal and pony up as much money as they did.
Passing on the Dan Lebitard Show. More from Jeff when he joins Will after this Sports Center. According to the Wall Street Journal, prosecutors have offered Patriots owner Robert Kraft and several other men a deal where charges would be dropped for soliciting prostitution at an illicit massage parlor in Florida. But the men would have to admit they would have been proven guilty at trial after they review the evidence. Attorneys for Kraft, asked about the report by ESPN's TJ Quinn, declined comment.
The all-new Wendy's Biggie Bag is here, and it's the total package. For $5, you get the bacon double stack, 4-piece nuggets, plus a small fry and drink. When you're looking for a giant meal without the giant price, grab the Wendy's Biggie Bag for $5. Price and participation may vary.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Kuz, please keep your shirt on, man.
All right.
I mean, Austin's one thing.
Thanks, man.
By July, I'll be doing the this show shirtless.
Well, here's the real question.
Once I get in better shape.
Are you going to rock the spandex like I was rocking too or not?
Yeah, not a spandex guy.
No, hey, honestly, I'm not really either, but it makes a difference in the cage.
Does it?
Yeah.
So you like the spandex more than the shorts with the slits in it?
So I used to wear board shorts, and my second fight when we're on the ground grappling, and the guy was grabbing my shorts. So obviously it makes it tougher.
Yeah.
So that's why I wear the spandex.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the tight jersey now in the NFL.
Exactly, without a doubt.
I can honestly say that I don't think I've ever had spandex on.
Dude, you played baseball. What are you talking about? What did you wear playing baseball? Do I want to know?
Why would I wear spandex playing baseball?
Because you wear spandex and you put the pants over the spandex.
Nah.
You just wore pants. Just cotton pants, and that was it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's gross. You baseball players, dude.
Well, I mean, I wore underwear.
Okay, well, that's a little better, but why wouldn't you wear spandex, man?
Like, I don't know if it wasn't a thing. Yeah, that wasn't a thing. Now they do have the. Yeah, listen, dude, this is like 20 years ago, man.
Whoa,
I mean, they didn't have like they weren't. I don't think Dick's was even open 20 years ago.
Okay, so let's say this scenario. Say that you're going to do a workout or that you go do yoga. Are you wearing spandex? Oh yeah, I definitely got that. I was trying to go past it. But I'm working with a bunch of children in here. Working with a bunch of adolescents. I'm trying to keep it professional.
Kuz. Hey, by the way, Kuz, if you had ever taken that drop down right now, it'd be a great time for it.
Exactly. But okay, so
now we had sliding pants.
Yeah,
that they were a little bit had a span. Now you could wear them. I didn't really wear them. I knew how to slide, so I didn't get the raspberries and stuff that people got sliding. But
okay, so say you go do a workout, Brent, or that you go do yoga. Are you not wearing spandex?
No.
Wow.
I've never worn
Kuz,
spandex.
Is that kind of
life.
shocking to you? Really?
I mean,
have you ever had spandex on?
What's up?
Have you ever had spandex on?
Like compression shorts. Is it that uncommon of a thing?
I'd rather.
Hey, Twitter, it's going way in a little bit.
I'd rather have like board shorts, like if I have the option.
No, I'm saying you wear the compression shorts underneath your board shorts, obviously.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's fine, yeah.
What do you wear when you're working out? Do you wear spandex shorts and then gym shorts over it?
I just wear regular underwear, yeah.
Oh, you guys are unbelievable. Okay, whatever. I'm done.
Hey, Kuz, do me a favor.
I'm ready to go home, honestly, now. Like, this is mind blowing.
Kuz, you go to the gym. You've been in the gym a lot lately, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow or whatever. When's your next workout? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning.
Ask him.
Okay, tomorrow morning. No, just do don't. You have to check out a lot of people now here, so don't be creepy.
That's why I said ask him.
I'm usually the only one in there, so.
Oh, really?
I pick times where I'm by myself. You know?
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to be in there with a bunch of people.
If there are other people in there, check how many people have like spandex compression shorts on. And I'm not talking about the females. You're gonna have to kind of look at the guys here. I want to see.
Because I was gonna say
I want to do a Twitter poll quick.
Every female's gonna have
do the Twitter poll.
Every female's gonna have the Lululemon thing.
Do
on.
the Twitter poll off the. I'll do the Twitter poll. It gets better interaction.
Watch him like he's going to reword it something so it's going to help his case. Have you worn spandex when working out?
No.
Spandex shorts.
No,
yes or no?
I just have to attach it to our video.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah. So there you go.
Hey, interaction, engagement.
I'm still learning that part of it, but yeah. One day I'll be there, Brent.
Hey, by the way, did you really bring up something about the coworkers and your before and after picture?
Yeah, so I've been going there for 3 months now, and the guy took a before picture, and we just did an after picture because
with your shirt off.
Yeah, and I told him I was getting discouraged because I wasn't seeing progress, and we looked at the photo, and I was like, oh wow, like there's a lot of progress. Yeah, and so I was talking to some coworkers, and they're like, you can't show us that. I was like, why not? They're like, your shirt's off. That's weird. That's like an HR thing.
See, and I told him it was my philosophy where if you post it on Instagram or Facebook, they're going to see it anyway, so what's the difference? even though it's a workplace environment.
So, like, can you not go to the beach with your coworkers?
I have never been there with them, no. But I don't think it's like against the rules.
Maybe I'm going to check with HR tomorrow.
Yeah.
Seriously. No, I am. I'm going to ask them.
Well, thank God, because I've been waiting to share my fight photos with everybody in the office, so I can't wait.
Well, no, I'm going to give a hypothetical, though, because I'm just going to save you. You can't go down the hallway and show any of the females your fight photos because you're in spandex and like
Brent,
nothing else.
Hey, guess what? I wasn't going to do that anyway, so
Well,
we're all good, man.
Put them on the walls in here.
That never even crossed my mind, but okay.
By the way, that's a good thought process. I seriously, now I want to know, though, because if you show someone a picture like that in the building,
is it wrong?
Could that be an HR problem?
Yeah.
But again, you could go to the beach with the same people and have your shirt off and that's okay.
Yeah.
You could probably be in the parking lot with your shirt
just
off.
getting changed real quick. Say I got like a shirt on and I'm going to an event. I got to throw, an ESPN 690 shirt on for it. I don't know if that's okay.
I don't think it's like an invasion of privacy because let's be honest, Brent, you're in the locker room when guys are showering and whatnot. So where does that justify, So I think from Kuz's perspective, I think you're okay, Kuz. As long as you're not, they're not bad pictures where, obviously let's not get into that.
Yeah.
But, I think you'd be okay. But I'm not speaking on behalf of HR.
It's a good question, though. Yeah.
Jeremy also says, you were the spandex king of EP. Stop lying.
For East Providence, yeah. About East Providence High School.
Brent's telling lies.
I don't think. Well, now listen. I swam in high school, so I did have to wear a swimsuit.
See, that's aggressive.
Yeah. So I guess, does that count as spandex?
No, because for me, I consider spandex like compression shorts. That's like a Speedo you were wearing.
Yeah,
which is
it was
super aggressive. But hey,
it is.
That's cool, man. I mean, hey, I respect. Like I said, I respect swimmers. I really do. Some crazy athletes.
You know what's really funny about swimming? Like, so I'm in high school, sophomore, junior, whatever. That's kind of that time of your life, whatever. Like middle school's a really weird time of your life to some, but then like high school, like I would not get in Speedo right now and go swim. I mean, some people it's okay,
either.
But I wouldn't want to. I would not do it, right? But it was like an everyday thing for me, like in high school.
See, even when I swam, I wore the longer ones. Like, how
but see, they didn't really. That was a thing again. Listen, I mean,
dude,
I'm not that
remember,
old.
Brent's a little older than us, Screws.
I'm not that old, but again, like in the Olympics now, they do wear the more like compression shorts.
Well, it depends the event, though, right?
Some of them do.
I think like the breaststroke, they do that because like they're. I forgot what they call it. They're like laser cut. Yeah, it's crazy, all the technology. But I appreciate the old dudes who were like, in their 70s and 80s at the beach.
just
don't care, man. Living that salt life, having a beer in the hand. Like, take me for who I am because I'm not changing for anybody. I respect that game a lot.
When was the last time we mentioned sports on this show?
It's been a while. Well, it's not going to happen with Stay in Your Lane coming up, but it's all good.
All right, well, let's do it before we hit another break.
Well, there is a little sports take here. Stay in Your Lane, cruise control. Fortnite is actually making its 10th appearance on Stay in Your Lane here, but I got to bring it up again. So the MLB, obviously, it's starting to progress to a young man's game. Seasoned veterans are starting to be a hard commodity to come by, really. Let's fast forward this past season. Carlos Santana of the Philadelphia Phillies, after frustrations of losing his 9th straight game in September, towards the end of the season, took it upon himself to prove a point to the younger players and smashed the TV and PlayStation after he thought that the rookies and the younger guys weren't taking losing seriously by playing so much Fortnite. So he took it upon himself to prove a point and smashed the clubhouse TV. Brent, are you for that or against it?
I'm for it.
To prove a point.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man.
Go do it.
Old school mentality. I like it. School hard knocks. Kuz is like, that poor television. I can't believe he did that.
Listen,
I'm calling HR.
If you're trying to create a team atmosphere, why not have them work as a team in a video game setting?
Hey, how about you're not playing video games after 9 straight losses? How does that sound in the clubhouse?
I mean, I agree. Like in that circumstance, there's some other things. But in general, if they're all there together talking and playing this game and working together, it creates that team vibe, right?
Yeah, that's a bad take.
Nope.
It's a bad take.
Oh.
They're not, though, because
that's why you're behind the glass.
They're not. They're not doing that. That's not like video games are not like that.
No, it's not.
There's a lot of teamwork involved, especially in the new ones. You gotta communicate perfectly about what's happening.
Dude, you know me. I'm team video games all day, man. And I love video games, but no, absolutely not. I'm not gonna give that to you. I'm sorry. I can't co-sign that.
Are you
All
done?
right. I'm done. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm
All
done.
right. Pump your brakes. Well,
I guess you're not done. You got to pump your
I
brakes.
got pump your brakes. All right, Brent. So we talked about sports for, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes here in the past hour. Well, back to random stuff. How much would you spend for a pigeon?
I don't want one. You'd have to give it to me for free or pay me to have it.
Coos, how much would you spend for a pigeon?
I feel like those birds at like PetSmart are like $10 or $20 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with that.
$10. How about over $1 million US in Belgium?
Is it the one from Home Alone?
It's even better. In Belgium, they actually do two things very well. They have waffles and they have racing pigeons. This racing pigeon, which is like the Lewis Hamilton of racing pigeons, just sold for $1.4 million. The bird's name is Armando, and he's said to be the best long-distance racing pigeon of all time. Yes, there are long-distance pigeon races that are high stakes. No idea, but that's crazy. It's a damn bird. What happens if he gets sucked up in a propeller? If he hits a window? Can you get your money back? $1.4 million for a racing pigeon. Brent, did you know there's racing pigeons?
I did not know that. How does PETA feel about that?
How does anybody feel about that, man? I mean, are you that rich where it's just like you're that bored?
It's amazing, man.
So,
People have that much money.
So if you guys ever find yourselves in Belgium, go check out their long-distance pigeon racing.
After you have a waffle.
After you have a waffle.
Is this okay, by the way? Have you ever wore spandex shorts, ? Working out, biking, etc.
Yeah. Well, can we call them compression shorts? I mean, it's the same thing. Spandex
I'll
is
say
kind of
spandex or compression shorts.
I love your style.
All right. That's going out there right now.
Watch him prove my point for me.
Is there any way we could tie this in with the NCAA tournament tickets? Probably not. We are going to give away tickets, and Dan Mullen and Tate Martell, unrelated, next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Bigger rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Jacksonville? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Jacksonville area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Jacksonville is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
When things go wrong, you need help to make it right. Call the law offices of John Phillips at 904-444-4444. John will be by your side as an advocate and as a friend. Personal injury, family, and criminal law. If trouble finds you, John Phillips can help. He is a board-certified expert in civil trial. Give John a call, 904-444-4444, or visit floridajustice.com.
Sports Center updates at the top and bottom of every hour. And the latest breaking news and sports around the clock. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. This is ESPN 690.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick and Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jack with our friend Brent Martineau, ESPN 690.
All right, we're going to give away some NCAA tournament tickets in a bit, but I want to get to some football. Hey, we're going to talk sports.
Sports?
No. You know what? It's kind of fun. I mean, we can talk NCAA tournament all week. I did want to talk a little bit more about Jim Furyk today, and I'm not sure we're getting that in. But we got time. We got all day, every day, 3 hours a day. Bear with us. Having some fun here on a Tuesday on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Just trying to not get ourselves in trouble. But we will give away some tickets in a bit. First, let's talk some college football. Tate Martell hardship waiver by the NCAA. He's eligible to play for the Miami Hurricanes. It's a big get from Manny Diaz. Listen, I have no idea how good Tate Martell is. We fall in love with names in college football because, hey, he went to Ohio State. Well, he was recruited by Urban Meyer. I mean, he must be good. Well, I don't know if he's any good. I don't know if he'll be any good at Miami, but at least it gives them an option down there, and they need players at Miami. So they've got talent, but this will certainly help. And if this guy is good, if Martell is a good player, well, it'll be something they haven't had in a while in terms of a good quarterback. And a couple years ago, that's what they were missing. Really, that was the piece they were missing in an elite quarterback to take them over the top. And it certainly adds a little bit of intrigue and interest. There's already enough of it for the Miami and Florida game to kick off the season in Orlando on August 24th. But just overall, in general, how close are we, in your opinion, to free agent college football where guys are just transferring and they're getting the okay, and the hardship is anything from a coach leaving to whatever else you might say? I mean, I think there are sometimes we assume what the hardships are, and so we don't know what the hardships are. So I think it's a little unfair to be super critical of guys. I mean, it could be a hardship in terms of personal.
Everybody comes from a different background. Yeah, exactly.
So I think you got to be a little careful in that, just to dismiss. I'm seeing a lot of chatter like on Gator's Twitter. It's like, what's the hardship? Like, what is the hard? You know what I mean? Hey, you don't know, and
exactly.
And how the NCAA rules these things, it just feels like they are opening up the precedent for this to take place a lot. And where do you draw the line? Let me ask you this. You were at Murray State. You obviously didn't have a ton of looks coming out of high school. You end up at Murray State. 2 years later or 3 years later, would you have been able to go somewhere else? Did anybody ever try to call you to get you to come? Because that's what happens, by the way, in college football. Could you have? Don't you have to give specifics, but I'm just saying, could you have been like, hey, I'll take advantage of this. I'm going to go to the SEC, or I'm going to go to the Big Ten, and I'm going to get my name out there more, even though I love you, Murray State. This is better for me personally.
I'm just going to say there was a couple opportunities, but I have to sit, and I wasn't going to sit. But
that's the point here. You might not have to sit now.
Okay, so from my perspective, I was going to give Murray my 4 years because they took a chance on me.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, we had my coach call and he said they didn't even bring me in for a visit. They just signed me pretty much sight unseen, and I signed with them sight unseen. So it was, we both took a chance, and it worked out for both sides. So from that perspective, I would have stayed at Murray State no matter what.
Okay, good deal. So I mean, I don't. But are you okay with it if guys start going wherever they need to go?
Here's what I'm curious about when it comes to the rules, and if they start changing some things, is with the XFL coming in, where they're going to try to bring in like the top high school prospects and pay them right away. I'm curious to see if kids actually go that route or not. You know, I mean, is the XFL really going to be a legit, bona fide NFL league? We shall see. But if they're paying these kids that, and like we talked about, that come from hard situations, like it's so easy for somebody to be like, oh, well, he shouldn't be doing this. You should stay loyal to his school. You don't know what that college kid's going through. Okay, I mean, it's hard enough being a full-time college student. On top of it, guess what? You also have to, spend 5 hours a day, whether it's going to practice, watching film, going to study hall. So it's almost like 2 full-time jobs. And yeah, I get it. They're on scholarship, but there's a lot more to it just in the scholarship as well. So from that perspective, just pump your brakes a little bit, okay? So we don't know what these kids are going through. So from the perspective of where if the XFL is paying these teenagers right out of high school that are coming from bad situations, you'd almost think that some kids that are super talented are going to go that route and get the money right away. And if that's the case, the NCAA might be a little more lenient to try to keep those kids because, let's be honest, football is the big sport. I mean, well, for the most part, the tournament right now is going on is pretty big too. But college football is king when it comes to NCAA sports.
Yep.
And if you start losing those household names, those star athletes, and they start going to some other places, you might be in a little trouble.
Oh, that's what happened in basketball, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay, you have to go one and done, okay, but we're leaving. And so the stars don't hang around anymore in college basketball. That's why you get a field like we have, I think, this year. The attrition leads to, you got some teams that are senior-laden and is stuck around. That's why I think the Houstons of the world, the Tennessee's been able to climb quicker than maybe in other years. And not to say Tennessee's an SEC team, I get it, but I think you can make the climb quicker if you have a veteran team, or if you just have the Butler Bulldogs or Wofford or those kind of teams. That's why they can make hay. That's the beauty of the sport too. But But yeah, listen, I've long said I'm a believer in whatever's good for the student athlete, and that's where I think all cases are case by case. I think it's hard to blanket statement, but in their business, the NCAA business, they do have to kind of make a blanket ruling, at least to set the parameters. And my parameters would be whatever is good for the student athlete. I don't think in my estimation, I don't think student athletes are trying to screw over a program very often.
No,
I do think coaches sometimes try to screw over a kid, and whether that is to benefit them in terms of wins and getting better play because they've got a new 5-star coming in, or it's because they don't like the way they handled the situation, or they don't like the way they were in the doghouse for some reason. I think that happens more often than the student athlete trying to screw the school. I think if the student athlete is kept, to what they signed up for and given a fair chance to compete and give what they are promised, I think they're going to stay at the school. And that's part of the job of the school and the program is to say, we promise you this, we're going to give you every opportunity for this. And then if it doesn't work out, you go elsewhere. So that's why I'm always siding with the student athlete on these things. I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous for everybody to just be able to go all over the place. But if it benefits a student athlete, I've got to say most of the time I'm for it.
And then you mentioned a great point with the coaches as well, especially, head coaches is one thing, but position coaches too. A position coach can go wherever he wants, whenever he wants. Like, if there's any student athletes listening right now, whether it's football, especially football, that's the transition where coaches are always coming and going. I urge you, when you're, when he comes over to your house and you're eating dinner with your family and he's giving you this big spiel about why you should come play for him and why the school's great, the atmosphere is great, the crowd's great, ask him this one question. Ask him, are you going to be there for 4 years that I'm there, or are you going to go someplace else? And see what his response is.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, it'll probably throw him off guard a little bit. He'll be like, well, I don't. And he might lie to you and say, oh, yeah, I plan on being there for 4 years. Absolutely. I'm not going anywhere. But the true guy's going to be like, listen, I plan on being there for your whole career. Things happen in college and whatnot, and I could go someplace else, but I intend to stay out through your time there. And that's the kind of guys you want because they're not blowing smoke up your what. They're telling it like it is. So I encourage athletes to do that.
That's a good question to ask. That's a really good point. And by the way, I'm not against coaches trying to enhance their professional life too. Dude, I don't think they need to be, listen, if you were locked into a 4-year recruit, well, you're going to be locked into recruits every single time. Yeah. So, I don't mind the position coach trying to get up to defensive coordinator, and has to go somewhere else to do it. Or even a coach who gets a better opportunity. Listen, Jimbo Fisher got $75 million guaranteed. I get it, but you just shouldn't have it one way.
No, I completely agree. And listen, the world of coaching is just as cutthroat as the world of playing ball is. In the world of coaching, it's all about who you know and your connections because, trust me, there's a lot of great coaches out there right now that aren't getting their just due because there's some guy above them that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, so he's got the position, So when it comes to a coach having the opportunity to maybe better himself, better his family, whatnot, their situation, you have to at least respect that as well.
Yeah, there are some big hurdles in college football and college sports to work through. The transfer stuff and also the pay to play. There are some big things, and I really wonder what the landscape in college athletics is going to look like in the next 10, 15, 20 years. And you mentioned some of these leagues too, and I think we're going to see more of it. Baseball, already you can jump ship and go to the minor leagues. Now, you're not getting paid a lot of money to play in minor league baseball very often. Basketball's trying to come up with a situation where they can bridge the gap and make it appealing for a young man that doesn't want to stay in college but isn't ready for the NBA. So we're seeing it all across the board, and it's going to be a lot of give and take in the NCAA over the next couple of years. All right, I want to get to Dan Mullen, and it's going to bridge probably the next couple minutes, even a break included. Kuz, let's get toward the bottom of our little sheet here. It's a quick one from Dan Mullen, and I think the big story is, where is the evolution of Felipe Franks in Gainesville? Obviously, they got so much out of Felipe Franks last year. How about after the first week of spring practice, Dan Mullen on his quarterback?
Well, they're doing good. We're installing right now, so a lot of it's just teaching. We're installing the offense, and the defense. With the core, I thought he's done a pretty good job of knowing the offense, at this point. So now he's working on how to execute it. how to be a better leader, all of those things, and make quicker decisions, and he's done a pretty good job of that.
Well, my goodness, he better know the offense by now. First of all, he's been on campus for a long time, but even with the Mullen offense, he's been in it. He better know the offense, and he has an upper hand in that in terms of being an experienced guy. I thought the best thing Mullen said there was the quicker decisions. I mean, he's got to be able to compute and figure out defenses and make decisions quickly. Right up above that one, Kuz, let's take the next one. I want to keep it on Franks for a second. What does he have to say about getting the best out of Felipe?
I think one thing, I think there's, hopefully there's a lot more trust factor of him trusting what we're doing, of us understanding what he does well, what his skill set is, and him trusting us to put him in a position to be successful. I think that's important. And, now that you get around guys, you know what they do well, what they don't do as well, and then how do I put him in a best position to be successful. And I think he probably has a better understanding of his skill set and how that applies within the offense.
Yeah, my take from Dan Mullen there is he learned a lot last year, and that's good. It is one of the best stories in college football. I think, is Felipe Franks and his development last year, and because of Dan Mullen. I think you got to say because of Dan Mullen. So I'm really interested as an observer here of where does that go? How much more can he get out of him? Dan Mullen proved a lot last year about his coaching acumen. Not that he really needed to. I think his resume kind of said it. But he did a whole heck of a lot with Felipe Franks. Not done listening to Dan Mullen from earlier today. And by the way, Dan Mullen will be in Jacksonville tomorrow. He will be making a speaking tour and stopping in the Jacksonville area. So I know we're going to stop by and get him on the TV side of things. So not done hearing from Dan Mullen just yet. And I promise, coming up next, we'll give away the NCAA tournament tickets for Session 1. 2 tickets to Session 1. We're giving it away next on
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Aaron, and that beeping sound you hear off in the distance, that's the Brinks truck backing up to Mike Trout's driveway. The Angels reportedly opening up that checkbook to the tune of $430 million over 12 years. The question is it the right move? And Stephen A. thinks he knows.
What is good for baseball and what is good for the world of sports is an organization stepping up. There is no way in hell that we need to be the organization that lost this guy. You don't lose a Mike Trout.
Now, in his career, Trout has never placed lower than 4th in the MVP voting. He's been Rookie of the Year and MVP twice. Last year, he hit .312 with 39 homers and 79 RBI in just 140 games. Meanwhile, at the bank, the Jags announced they've agreed to terms with former Green Bay linebacker Jake Ryan, and Blake Bortles has landed on his feet in Los Angeles. He'll be carrying the clipboard for the Rams next year. Download the ESPN 690 bracket and play along with Brent, Austin, and others right here. Just go to ESPN690.com.
The Bearded Villains of Jacksonville presents the Dirty South 4 at the Jacksonville Landing on March 30th. This is a DSV4 regional meet, and all proceeds benefit the National Kidney Foundation. Beginning at 7 p.m., there'll be a beard competition, including a ladies' division. Ladies, be creative and make a beard you'd be proud to show off. Admission is free. Get more information at bv904.com or send an email to bvjacksonville@gmail.com. March 30th at the Jacksonville Landing starting at 7 p.m.
There's just something special about a diamond from Diamonds Direct.
I've heard several people say that when they go to a gathering and there's a group of ladies around wearing their beautiful diamond rings, that you can usually tell which ones were bought at Diamonds Direct.
That's Ken Holman at Diamonds Direct.
And part of the reason for that is the quality of the cut. We control the cutting process, so the diamonds that we sell are going to be the top 2 cut grades that are available to consumers.
Truth is, the way a diamond is cut can affect its true value by as much as 50%. So it's no surprise that when Diamonds Direct's owners look at 100 diamonds, they usually only select 5 to sell in the showroom.
It's a great feeling to know that every diamond we sell, the cut is going to be either excellent or very good, and that guarantees a beautiful diamond.
Diamonds Direct, refusing to settle for anything but the most dazzling, most brilliant diamonds money can buy.
You're guaranteed a diamond that was cut properly.
Don't compromise on one of life's most important purchases. Buy with total confidence at Diamonds Direct. Get directions and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Picture this. Your favorite team is playing. You're streaming the game. 10 seconds left. Your team shoots. Oops, your data runs out.
Look, don't let that happen. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 25 gigs of high-speed data, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Join Team Straight Talk and get unlimited talk and text plus 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month.
Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart.
First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck in no time. So you can haul gravel, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. And now get a 1 Series for just $99 a month at your nearest participating John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. 0% annual percentage rate. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
The ultimate alternative rock tour, Bush and Live, the ultimate tour. Sunday, August 18th at Daly's Place. The celebration of 16 stone from Bush. And throwing copper from Live. Special guest Our Lady Peace, the ultimate tour. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
It's time for another shout-out to all the North Florida poker fans. This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Poker Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. It's time for you to learn how to play poker, and we're here to help. Attend our Poker 101 class for complete poker rookies on the 30th of this month. You'll walk away confident and ready to hit the tables. Our next one-day seminar will take place on March 30th at Best Bet Orange Park from noon to 5 p.m. Bring your game face and learn to play from the best. For more details, visit bestbetjacks.com.
Why do local women watch Action News Jacks? Because the unexpected can mess up their day. They like to know about the rain, the recalls, and school changes because their families are depending on them. They need more than just crime stories. They want to be in the know with real investigations that truly impact them, not something they can just Google. Is that selfish? We don't think so. Their time is valuable. In fact, more women are now watching Action News Jacks than any other station.
From the NBA to the NFL, we've got you covered. The worldwide leader in sports. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. This is ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jacks is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
All right, let's do this. Let's give away some tickets to the NCAA tournament coming up on Thursday in Jacksonville. The first wave, the first session. So it breaks up into three sessions, in case you didn't know. Session 1 starts at 12:40, and then there's a game then, and then there's another game like a half hour after. Mm-hmm. And then session 2 begins with the Kentucky game on Thursday night, and then same type of deal, won't end probably until 11:30 midnight because of the half hour in between. So that's session 2. And then session 3 is sometime on Saturday, which we really don't even know just yet. I'm thinking that if Kentucky is in the mix, then it might be more toward late afternoon or early evening. But we don't know that. We won't know probably until late Thursday night or Friday morning what time the Saturday games are. But in my hand, I have, let's see how many. I think I have. Did somebody steal a ticket? No, there you go.
Did Austin take one?
Yeah, you might have.
Hey, Mr. Snitch.
Wow. 2, 3, 4. 4 sets of 2.
So this is for the Belmont, or hopefully the Belmont LSU game. It might be Temple, and then the Yale Louisville game. Or I'm sorry, LSU game.
Yeah.
All right.
So
hey, if you guys are single out there, any single gentlemen, those tickets to Yale, man, you might find yourself a new girlfriend from Yale. That's going to be a moneymaker for you. So, hey, call in by all means.
Or single females.
Or single females as well. Yeah, you can find yourself a gentleman as well. So, there's a lot of
How
possibilities
do you like them
here.
apples?
Set aside from basketball. I'm trying to think of people's
that was
futures.
Harvard, I know, but
yeah.
All right. So anyway, we do have tickets to give away. What do you want to do? Caller 68? You want to take 68 calls? No, I'm just kidding. We might play some games with this tomorrow, but let's give them away. 904-362-9901. 904-362-9901. We will go. Are we sticking with Nick Foles in number 7?
Seems to be the way we've been going.
We have been going. We're sticking with it. It's still Nick Foles' time around here. So 904-362-9901. 2 tickets
I love
to
Nick Foles.
2 tickets to session 1, and you have to say I love Nick Foles when you call in. By the way, the tickets that we're giving away, thanks to our friends who have recently, now a little bit more than recently, come out with Vida de Luis tequila. And it's on the market out there, and those are the folks that helped give these tickets to you. The only Jacksonville Beach tequila produced and bottled in Tequila, Jalisco, Mexico. How about that?
There you go.
If you know your tequila.
Yeah.
They're also a title sponsor of the Spring the Blues Festival, April 5th through the 7th in Jax Beach. So thanks to those guys, Vida de Luis Tequila. Check it out. And here it's going to be available just about everywhere soon. We'll tell you through the next couple of days where you can get it. But those guys helping us out with giving a few tickets to you guys. And we already have a winner? Oh, my gosh. Look at those things.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
These are tickets here.
Wow. Light up the board.
Oh, we got a bunch of.
Oh, the pressure's on.
Oh, man. Yeah, pick one.
Pressure's on. Pressure's on.
Give
me a number.
Pick number 5 for BB. 5.
5 for BB5?
Yeah.
We went from Foles to
Foles
5.
to 5,
All
yeah.
right. Caller number 5. Hey, what's happening? Caller number 5. You are a winner. Wow. Are you in a wind tunnel?
Caller number 5, come in.
That was dangerous.
Oh, no way. They're going to miss out.
Caller 5.
In 3.
Hello.
Oh, hey!
Yeah,
He's
that was
back.
like, you were like Hulk Hogan. Like when they almost counted him out and he'd come back. What's happening?
Gotcha. Not much. Just that's actually my birthday Thursday. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's awesome. Happy birthday. What's your name?
Thank you. It's Woody.
All right, Woody. Congratulations. You got any dogs in the fight in any of those games here in Jacksonville or what?
Probably not here. I'm a big UNC fan. So I'll be going for the Heels.
All right. Well, you almost said they were here last time. So that was good. But North Carolina's got a really good team. Happy birthday on Thursday. And you are going to the NCAA tournament, session number 1. Have a lot of fun. Thanks, man.
Great. Thank you.
Appreciate you listening to the show here
Thanks,
on
Woody.
ESPN 690. All right. Hey, here's the deal. We'll give away 3 more sets of tickets on Wednesday's show. Not going to do it right now, but it looks like 3 more sets of tickets on Wednesday's show. Thanks to the friends at Vida de Luis Tequila for helping us do that. Oh, you're going to tell them, right, Kuz? I didn't tell them where to get them, so hopefully you do all that.
Yeah, you're good. I'm working on it.
I'm doing this. I'm doing the ticket giveaway part. All right. We're talking Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Felipe Franks wins that job, even with what they have coming in terms of Jalen Jones and Emory Jones? Emory Jones, obviously, a little bit more of a leg up. You think it's going to be Felipe Franks in 2019?
Even though Emory Jones is adding some girth. As Coach Dan Mullen said, yeah, I think it's Felipe Franks' job. He did show some pretty good improvement from last season, Brent, and I think that's testament to the coaching and whatnot. So I think that they have a good guy going forward. I think they have confidence in him. A guy that's obviously used to the system now a little bit. So as far from a starting standpoint, I think Felipe Franks is going to be the guy. And listen, he's going to be tested early in the season, so they're going to kind of know what they have with Felipe Franks right off the bat, and they're probably going to go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds who knows where Jalen Jones figures in the mix, especially with 2 guys ahead of him. But it'll be interesting. Emory Jones throws a nice ball. He did it right here in Jacksonville, Florida-Georgia game. But Felipe Franks, if he can evolve a little bit more, the thing will be interesting with Gator fans is how short is the leash. And be like, all right, we've seen enough of this. Because there's a little bit of that with Franks. It's like we kind of know where his ceiling is. And when you have a guy like Emory Jones, you really don't know where the ceiling is. People always want to see that guy, right? What's the old adage and cliche? The best guy is the guy holding the clipboard, really, is that backup quarterback. That's the guy that everybody wants to see. And if he struggles for a game or two, if he has some down moments, it's just the nature of the beast. Gator fans will come calling maybe for Emory Jones. I want to hear a little bit more from Dan Mullen, but Kuz is really busy working.
Kuz is
right now,
asking this guy, is this is your real name Woody there, sir? Like, yeah, you're really getting into it, Kuz.
So we might get to that in a moment. Catch you up on some of the sports headlines of the day. Mike Trout, how about the deal? $430 million. You know, it's 430. It comes across as 12 years, 430, which is huge. And that's what it is. But it's really a 10-year, $360 million deal. He already had 2 years left. Which I thought he only had 1 year left, but I guess 2 years left on his deal. He might have had an opt-out clause after this year. That's maybe what I was thinking. But either way, it adds up to $430 million.
And if my math is correct, which it's probably not, that's 12 years, 430, so 1,944 games. Divide that, and you get $225,000 per game. That's just, man.
It is, but it's like, see, I don't. How much are they going to make that back? You know, and if I don't have a problem with these guys making that money, I really don't. I mean, like people do, I don't. I really don't.
Especially Mike Trout. You know, I mean, he's like the all-American boy. You know, like
and that's maybe that's
like
a little
humble
bit of it.
Dude. Yeah,
you know,
a humble dude. And maybe that's one of his fallbacks too. The fact that he's not so popular because he's not like the Bryce Harper, who's I don't want to say cocky, but you know, he's a little more flashy, kind of a guy that I guess you would say the younger generations can relate to.
Maybe polarizing a little bit.
Yeah. You know, Trout's just a guy that he goes out there, he does his job, he stays humble, he says all the right things. So from that perspective, as far, you know, from a marketing standpoint, I mean, I assume they're going to get their money back in him just because he is such a polarizing figure. But do you think, you know, playing for the Angels, which I wouldn't necessarily call a big market team per se, especially in California where you have the Giants, you have the Dodgers. I mean,
big enough to afford 430.
No, exactly.
You know?
So I mean, do you see ticket sales just skyrocket? I mean, see, to me, it's not like when Bryce Harper went to Philly, you saw the results of it.
Yeah.
And now, granted, Trout's staying in the same spot that he's been in. But do you feel there's going to be a lot of hype and everything with the Angels now?
No, I mean, you're right. It's a really good point. If he had gone to another team, you get the bump, right?
Yes.
You get the jersey bump. You get all that. It's not happening here because he's already there.
Yeah.
So I understand it. And again, the West Coast comes into play. You know that he should transcend baseball, but he doesn't. He doesn't have this personality that transcends baseball. He's got a game that certainly should. He's one of the best athletes on the planet. And hardly recognized for it, but it's unique in that sense.
And let me ask you this, Brent, because you follow the sport pretty closely. So you said he doesn't have the personality for baseball, but
to transcend baseball.
To transcend baseball. But you know, to me, baseball, it's always been about like the old time game, like the old time rules and whatnot. There's like a certain set of unwritten rules. So to me, if you weren't going to transcend those rules, if you weren't going to be like this star-studded kind of cocky guy, I feel like baseball would be the sport for you, you know? But do you find it kind of shocking still that for as good as he is, for as talented as Mike Trout is, he's still like not the polarizing figure that we should make him out to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's unusual, but I'll say this. Is Tom Brady?
That's true.
Tom Brady's polarizing for two reasons. Winning and his controversial Deflategate.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a good way to look at it.
Otherwise, he is just as unassuming. Now, he's dating a supermodel.
That helps.
I don't know if Mike Trout is. I don't think he is. But, yeah, are they that different, you know?
It's a good point.
So baseball doesn't, the megastar doesn't transcend, which is interesting. Now, Bryce Harper could, and there might be some that will. Ohtani's now international, of course, so we'll see. All right, I promise we'll hear one more from Dan Mullen, and we got a couple of hot takes. That next on ESPN 690.
It's March. There's basketball. And now there's ESPN 690, The Bracket. Go to ESPN690.com. Click on the bracket logo and fill it out. Play against Brent and Austin from Action Sports Jacks. The winner gets a smoker, gift card, and more. Play The Bracket with ESPN 690.
The winner gets tickets to Rolling Stones, a meat smoker, and more. Play The Bracket with ESPN 690 right now at ESPN690.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you have received a letter from the IRS and cannot pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank accounts and garnish your wages. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville and recently voted the best tax attorney in Jacksonville by Folio Weekly readers and selected as an ultimate tax attorney by the Jacksonville Business Journal. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only trust an experienced and award-winning tax firm to represent you. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. Online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation present the 2019 Take Steps Jacksonville Walk on April 13th at Memorial Park right here in Jacksonville. Registration begins at 9 a.m. and the walk begins at 11. Supporters are encouraged to create a team and raise money to help change the lives of the almost 18,000 residents of Northeast Florida affected. For more information, visit cctakesteps.org/Jacksonville 2019. That's cctakesteps.org/Jacksonville 2019.
Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Jacksonville? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Jacksonville area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Jacksonville is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we have, and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. If you've been involved in an accident, call us at 904-600-4000 for a consultation.
Office in Jacksonville.
Whether you're buying a new or a pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
Did you know that March is Florida Bicycle Month? In Florida, bicycles are vehicles and have the same rights and the same responsibilities as other vehicles on the road. For more bicycle safety information, visit alerttodayflorida.com.
Now you have a bunch of young guys who found out we were all on the trade block. Now that trade didn't go through, so I agree with Magic, and you got to put on your big boy pants, but we all don't know how everybody's going to deal with it.
Go Lick and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
If you win tickets to the NCAA tournament or win anything, make sure you have your social security, blood type.
Yeah.
Everything. Do you have to give a urine sample?
We do test, yes.
We don't need stoners coming to the game.
Congrats to Woody. And Kuz was on the phone for like 7 minutes with him.
You guys become friends?
Yeah, I got invited to his birthday party.
Sweet.
There you go.
Now we're talking.
All right, we'll give away more tickets tomorrow, and I think another set on Thursday for Saturday. So we will keep in the loop, keep trying to win. Thanks for listening to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. All right, one last thought on Dan Mullen about the offensive line, because the big question mark in Gainesville. They lost a lot on the offensive line, be a lot of youth on the offensive line. So that will be a bit of a mystery for the Florida Gators in 2019. Dan Mullen talking about what the O-line looks like here in the spring.
There's a lot of youth and inexperience in that group. So that's one that is, it's going to take a little bit of time for those guys because, there's installs going on. And, we have, I think I looked out, with the one series with the twos, there was a redshirt freshman and 4 basically high school kids out there running with the 2 huddle. And they're in their 3rd install in 3 practices and, going against, defenses that are probably well advanced of anything they'd ever seen before. I don't get frustrated with it. What it is I've actually seen, I've thought especially the young guys have picked it up a little bit faster maybe than you're used to seeing. But I think that happens a lot when they're forced to play up. When young guys, when they're forced to play in with the ones or the twos and with other players around them, there's that kind of sense of urgency. They end up picking things up a little bit quicker, and I think they've done a decent job. We'll see. They get into install 4 today, so it's not like it's slowing down, and to see when they hit that mental wall.
That's one thing about last year's Florida Gator team. This is not me being negative Nancy here about it. It's just the fact they had a lot of people coming back. They had a lot. Even though it was a new year for Dan Mullen, they had a lot of experience. Offensive line, quarterback, even receivers. There was a lot of veteran players on that Florida Gator team on offense. So as they bring in some of this youth, how quick do they catch on to what Dan Mullen's doing? I think it means new challenges. Doesn't mean it's not going to work. Just means new challenges for Dan Mullen. Again, Mullen in town tomorrow, so I'm not sure we'll hear from him tomorrow in Jacksonville because it's kind of right up against toward the end of our show when we'll get him on the TV side. And we'll probably bring you that on Thursday. And the spring game, orange and blue game, April 13th. So they've got a couple more weeks of spring practice. By the way, back to the Mike Trout news. Trent in Torsia writes in, Angels have a $3 billion cable contract. I wasn't aware of that. The largest in the league. It's the largest in the league. Bigger than the Yankees and Red Sox. That surprises me. I did not know that. So they've got plenty of cash coming in.
Is this recently this happened? It probably had to be because of Otami, right?
Yeah. Well, they all have the big deals now. Most of the teams have the big deals. I just didn't realize it was that much for the Angels. Listen, that's the thing that's so funny about baseball is everybody talks about it like, hey, it might be dying. It might be this. There's plenty of money in baseball, and they're proving it this offseason. Machado, Harper, and now Trout. Hey, a couple of hot takes. What do we got, Coos?
Yeah, one actually off of the baseball news you're just talking about. The first hot take says, Angels only did this because of Harper's comments.
Yeah, comments meaning, look out. I might be going to Philly. Well, no, but they thought it was real. That's a real thing. You don't want to lose this guy, whether it's this year, next year. He's the best player in the game. He really is. By all the metrics, he's the best player in the game, and you don't want to lose that guy. So I give him credit. Listen, they have not been afraid to spend. They mistakenly, I think, spent on Pujols in terms of the amount of dollars, the amount of years, and they're still paying on it. They've got to put some youth around him. And Ohtani's a start, although he's banged up. But they need youth. I don't know the Angels roster. I really don't. But they don't have enough. They have to be a threat. They should not be getting beat out by the Oakland A's in the West. Mm-hmm. And they need to be more of a threat in the American League, whether Yankees, Red Sox, Houston. Now, Houston's tough, but they have to be more of a threat, and they just haven't been.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're really worried about him going to Philly. I think they're just worried about losing their star player that they brought in. They groomed, He is the Angels. So it's important to keep him. So I think that's just what that is a result of. Brent, I want to ask you this question, though. Mookie Betts in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
do you think he's going to get more?
$500 million?
Yeah, that's what I was getting towards. Because, inflation and whatnot.
Yeah, inflation's happening. I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd be surprised. And I don't know why I'm saying that. I guess I'd be surprised.
Okay.
I think you might be talking about a $400 million deal for Mookie Betts. He's got to stay healthy. And we'll see where it lands. But it's a good question. Okay. It's really up for, I haven't thought a lot about it, but people are asking, like, what is Mookie Betts going to get? You know, what's amazing is I don't have as much a problem with guys like Harper and even Machado to a lesser degree, but Harper and Trout getting these deals. I did have a problem at the time, I remember, with A-Rod getting that $250 million deal. It just because it was A-Rod, it felt like, you know. But think about where that's gone in the last 14, 15 years. It's gone from $250 to now $430. It's amazing. Got another hot take before we go?
Yep, last one real quick. Zion is bad for March Madness.
No, not a chance. No. I mean, listen, we haven't had a star that transcended college basketball in decades. This is awesome for March Madness. It's great. And especially since it's a down year, I think, across NCAA basketball, you couldn't get a better situation. And hopefully he's healthy, and I think they need Duke to win. Duke in the Final Four would be a very good thing.
Was Adam Morrison bad for March Madness? Was Jimmer Fredette bad for March Madness? No, like the top-rated players that, you know, in that year, you want to watch them play. And Zion is by far, no offense to John Morant, you know I'm Racer Nation all day, baby, but Zion Williamson is the best player in college basketball. So everyone deserves the right to watch him play. The guy's explosive, and it's not like he's a crazy shooter. It's the fact that he plays with power, crazy dunks, crazy blocks, just the epitome of athleticism. People want to see that.
ESPN690.com. If you want to play against us in the brackets, you can win more prizes. Tomorrow you'll win more tickets to the NCAA tournament on ESPN 690. But go fill out that bracket. We'll do ours tonight. We'll share it with you tomorrow. Tate Martell. They got the waiver, the hardship waiver. He's down in Miami 2019. He can play. Blake Bortles to the Rams. And what else will happen tonight in the world of sports? We're about to find out. We, of course, will see you on TV. Make sure you check out CBS 47 and Fox 30. And have a great Tuesday night, everybody.